Welcome everyone. I have so much to share with you today. Let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths first. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Another deep breath. You might want to send your love somewhere, anywhere out in the world, as well as to yourself, pulling in that white light, that pure white light, in through your crown, wrapping it around your heart, and allowing the energy to diffuse out into your chest, into your arms, into your legs, down to your toes, up to your neck and your head, and out your ears, out through your auric layers, and then through your home, through your neighborhood, your state, your country, your world, wherever you'd like it to go. Take another deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to you guys. I hope you're having a great day. It's a beautiful sunny day here on the East Coast. I actually spent the day at the beach yesterday with my sister, so I got a little bit of a recharge. For me, the ocean is definitely the place to go for a good recharge, and I also had a session with a light bed, which I usually do when I go down there, and also light touch healing with the singing bowls and stones as well. And it's a couple who does this. It's called Heart Casa in Ocean City, New Jersey, if anyone wants to check it out if you're near there. It's wonderful. It's actually a crystal shop, so you might not know that the beds are in the back of the shop, but it's a lovely spiritual couple who does this healing. And I had a wonderful breakthrough that I wanted to share with you guys because it affects you as well. It's a message for all of us. But there's a lot of other messages that came through as well. And this is all information coming up from the 15th through this morning. And we're going to roll the dice first, and then we'll get into this. Let's see, for the twin flames, today is the 18th of May. And again, I brought up that things are happening in 4 months or thirds of the year, every 4 months. A message came up around that. I don't know if I posted that already or if that's in the messages coming up for today. But that increment of 4 months. And then today, it's reminding me because 5/18 is 4 months from my birthday. So let's go ahead and roll the dice, see what comes up for the twins for today, the 18th, 2022. And where are we actually with the 18? So yesterday was the 17th along with the 28 energies of the twin flames and that choice of past. So today we're at the 29, which is the Three of Wands, being present in the moment with your gifts, being really very much into the now moment. Yesterday was the star energy, so today's the 18 of the moon. All right, so let's see what's going on. And it was so cool. One of the messages, the first car that I was behind on my way down the shore yesterday, the license plate was literally DMM. So the DM, not only is the DM in there, or the DM, right? The DM and the MM for Mary Magdalene as well. And the number that came up was 9972, which is the compassion of the 99 and the 72 by 2. It's like the masculine saying, you know, I'm the other 72 and have compassion. And that was the first plate I was behind for a bit yesterday when I went to the beach. Right after that, 3223 came up, which is the journey and the King of Wands, who's been coming up a lot lately. And then another plate that came up was what was that? It was H92, like the Hermit, and the feminine High Priestess energy there. And then LXG, which is like Lu X God, like, you know, the shadow versus the light, and regarding the divine feminine there. So, what do the dice have for us today? This May 18th, 2022. And the energy feels really good and light today. We have Neptune, which is that dreamy Pisces energy here, but also the pitchfork came up in the definition, so just remember I said that. The 1 is the Magician, which is also Gemini. Virgo comes up for the Magician as well. The 1 is the masculine, that very focused vision. And we also have Capricorn here, which is all about responsibilities and restrictions, or that paternal energy. Okay. I don't know what the aspecting is right now. You know, we just went through a major eclipse of clearing Scorpio energy, and also the feminine being seen, right? The organic divine feminine of Mother Earth getting in between the false reflection of the sun back to itself and coming into the actual reflection of the masculine energy to the actual, you know, organic feminine reflection there. So after these energies, and this is what we're feeling now, it does feel much lighter, and of course going to the ocean always is a great clearing. I definitely made a point of putting my feet in the water and splashing my face and my arms, getting that salt water on me. And I had some beautiful pictures of the seagulls down there, which I'm going to share a few of those with you. But it was just a beautiful day. There was a couple men there with a group of young children doing some surfing, so they were all in their scuba outfits, and I got some amazing pictures of these two little kids in their black scuba outfits, and they look like shadows playing on the beach. So I'm going to actually put them together as part of one of my songs. I'll put it together with a music video so you can actually see all of the pictures, because I could not have like hired someone to do this for me. The pictures were so perfect of these two little beings playing innocently and showing us all the reflection of ourselves between each other. It was just gorgeous to watch. So I'll share that with you for sure. But it was just a beautiful day. Before I start with the first read, because I have a few different reads that I got a lot of information from, plus the big read on the table, as you can see, my 7-deck read for the Twin Flames. I had told you about the toad that I saw outside of my front door last time I came on. Excuse me, and that was on the 15th. And I had pursued a personal message about the toad for myself that I hadn't shared for you on that day. And the earth as the benefactor was coming up that day, very much so, and it was relating to the mother, and the card that was coming up had Grace on it, which is my mother's middle name. So there was very much that significant of the mother and earth being our benefactor of generosity. But also the energy, which I told you, the toadstool came up on that card. And the dust devil also, so it's like whipping up the dust to clean out the house, so to speak, right? So cleaning house. The 4D joyful muse of inspiration, which came up in my title on the last video, and the eagle's eye, and that was number 18, which today is the 18th. And the eagle is very important as far as my message that came up in my session yesterday. So the eagle's eye came up, the eyes of the eagle, and I also wrote down the e-gull, like the seagull, because I had brought that combination up too, between the eagle and the smaller eagle, like seagull that they call it, on the beach. So it's not the same bird, but there was this reference between the bigger eagle and the smaller eagle, and the eagle also comes up as the feminine gull and rising above the fray. The feminine, and I was getting this from the different perspectives of the masculine and the feminine. So the feminine has more of an ornamental lens, adjustable focus, and electric inspiration in the eye of the pupil, of the student, which is crystal clear here. So the eye was definitely coming up as crystal clear. And again, the energies of blue-green, light blue and deep green actually were coming up specifically. And the right eye was coming up as the portal to the universes, the window to our soul of possibilities. And that main focus, like the masculine energy that's very focused with blinders on, like a horse. Whereas the feminine energy, the left eye, sees the window and the dressing, the details, the beauty, and how to create this. The aperture, like on a camera, and the depth of the field was coming up as the feminine energy, which is very much on the same lines as alchemy, where the masculine is the change and the feminine then shapes that change of the circle, so the triangle and the circle energies. And again, the purple moon or 0 point was coming up here, and the need to go into quiet meditation and stillness with justice and alignment here with the 11. So overflow and plenty were coming up, as well as then closing the door of completion and straddling the worlds of both 3D and 5D. So being in both realms and being able to straddle them, as opposed to being in one or the other, or just at 0 point, but being being able to be in both energies simultaneously and yet separately as well, alternating back and forth, coming together in the marriage, the change with the Queen of Swords, the abundant wife versus the divorced widow energy, right? The shadow and the light, again, playing off of each other. The floodgates open to come together and then shut. But I was also getting the shunt, which is like the bridge or the portal through. The cutoff in freedom, change, and expansion and completion as the Queen of Swords learns to straddle both worlds of coming together in joy and freedom. Mother giveth and father taketh, which is coming up as the religious or societal expectations, expecting you to take responsibility. In order to have a lot is to have upkeep. To have a little is therefore freedom in thought and action, but it can be lonely. But true freedom is the balance between worlds, the joy of company and co-creating while free to be you and to do what you love. And also the flying monkey card keeps coming up. I'll have to show you that picture. It's literally the flying monkey over the crystal ball with no vision in it. So it's asking you to dream, you know. Be inspired to dream. See the vision in your mind's eye, because the intention is where the creation comes from. Once you set your intention, you then focus on what's going well for you. You don't focus on what you keep wanting to intend. You just keep that in a very kind of humbled focus, while you then place your attention in the 3D on those things that are working really well for you to keep that really positive flow up and that high vibration. So that kind of energy was coming up here. So again, it's just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, not too much and not too little, but just right and left at the same time. Sitting and relaxing while reaching and stretching. So again, the polarities, sitting and relaxing while reaching and stretching at the same time. And the total lunar eclipse, your true reflection of the feminine, the organic feminine standing up for herself. Smashing the false mirror for the earth to be seen, to see your true muse, which was coming up as the title on the last video. So then we'll get to the main read last here, but first came up this little read that I'd done with the Lenormand Reverie, and it came up as this is the underlying energy here, and it goes down this column here and then to this section here. But part of this section also came up first before I pulled this cards, and it was something that came up the other day, very much about autopsies and poisons and things like that, and discovery regarding that kind of thing. So death, autopsies, poisons, whatever's toxic in your life coming up. So 6 o'clock came up very significantly too, and that'll come up in the twin flame read, the big one on the table. But you notice that 6 o'clock is a representation of pi. It's when both needles are, vertical up and down. So it becomes the pi energy, which for me, the circle is the source embodiment of the human, and the line down the middle of pi represents that perfect balance between the masculine and feminine. But we're expanding out into phi because the line goes outside our normal walls of the human being. We're going outside of ourselves to expand to other dimensions. So now we're in that phi energy, but here the pi energy was coming up as very significant to just retain that balance within your own self of the masculine and feminine. And actually, in my session yesterday, there was a third person with me and my sister doing the session with us. And she had to leave right at 6 o'clock. So it was pretty cool that I told her about this 6 o'clock that I'd been seeing and regarding pi. So this first, just give me 1 second. Okay. So, so like I said, I pulled some quick cards getting those autopsy energies. And this was at 10:07. This was on the 16th, actually, so the day before yesterday. And again, all about toxicity and death energies. And again, the embalmment energies of the tombs, like in the with the pharaohs and the pyramids and such. So all that type of deep, dark Scorpio energy was coming up, which was not only in the South Node, but the eclipse that we just dealt with, and letting go of that energy. The underlying energy of the Queen of Wands snake as the infiltrator, or Cancer, which is a toxin, right? The embalming, the dance of the doctor-patient relationship, and the powerlessness of that, and hospitals, facilities, exposing lack of peace. And the King of Wands' need to stand up to the rugrats, the pets, the pests, the mice into their food and poop, and affiliated with that, and then the annoyances and the big messes to clean up, the food left out, the damage to furniture, perhaps your pets chewing up your stuff, or with no time to clean up, the bird feeders in bridges, or twins in need of care and repair, the Queen of Cups with lots of Leo here with Cancer, and the underlying energy of the Queen of Wands as venomous. And again, this is not about all fire signs. This is a specific energy of a fiery person. It doesn't even have to be a fire sign, but who is toxic and who perhaps is doing something sneaky or shady or, lying, cheating, stealing type of energy. But this Queen of Wands as venomous, and she can represent an actual toxin, toxic or infiltrating or with Cancer, while the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups are together cleaning up the messes or making repairs. Unable to keep up with the home and the hospital, the school, the establishment, or dealing with illness, death, and estates. Perhaps illness runs in a family and may want an autopsy to find the true cause once and for all. So again, this is coming up. It's very much Scorpio energies. So expanding, when I pulled these cards I just showed you, was at 10, 21 to 22, which is the world of completion, 21, and the 10 of the high vibe, destiny, and the wheel turning in your favor, and then going into the 22 of the Fool's Journey with an open heart, taking that leap of faith. So the Lenormand expands on that toxicity, or I was asking for expansion on that toxicity, why it was coming up. And the underlying energy, though, was very beautiful energy. So information, communication, a letter, text, document, or sealed energy was coming up, but it was like inspired or frustrated. The pushy polar bear with the weight of the world on their shoulders, or perhaps atlas or a map or directions, or Capricorn mother with a send-off of innocent or Pisces child, navigating masks and multiple faces of the need to discern or discernment, with wise group of friends or divine feminine friends, or reaping rewards of a vacation together. The King of Cups in a time crunch, and the Empress ready to sail or overcome to achieve bliss or rapture of travel with Gaia and unconditional love. The freedom of family with options and synchronicities and heaven in their eyes. The Two of Cups soulmate energy with direction or map of that energy of how to follow that true north. The Fox wounded warrior or Sagittarius leaving the scene or leaving the country as the Page of Swords child is in transition, or Scorpio or Pisces with a message here, or that can be massage as well. Capricorn, Taurus, Aries, and Cancer around here too, perhaps one by land and one by air or sea, in energetic exchange with the buck and mountains, the world, completion, and coming full circle on the Fool's Journey, and she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. The Queen of Pentacles choosing a new path, with Cancer pup wanting the Ten of Cups family to take the lead, or perhaps they're waiting to be taken for a walk, or just be played with, wanting someone to play with them, taking a risk with a letter, or just a note to be careful. And that can be parents and children as well. So 1036 is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 36 of the Atlas energy. Again, that weight of the world on your shoulders. And the first card that came out was the Reflecting Swans. This is very much the energy that we're going into, of that beauty of the swans. And it brings up that's one of the lives I've been shown as far as my bird lives. And I want to bring this up now because the eagle came up very significant yesterday, which will come up in a minute. But my eagle life that I had, was the very traumatic life where I lost my partner and grieved very painfully. And I experienced that grief again yesterday in my session. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I had done the harmonic egg out in California when we went to spread my parents' ashes last May. And it was the meditation in the harmonic egg was amazing because it literally expanded on how we go through our animal lives before ascending to human, and that we don't become the wounded warrior as a human, but we start as a wounded warrior coming from our animal lives, which were very painful at times for us. So my ego life, I'd lost my partner, and I mourned and grieved for that partner my entire life. And I cannot express to you the pain that I feel in that, because I feel the same pain every time I feel that life coming in. But I also had a swan life and a pelican life that were actually very joyful and beautiful with my twin, that were carefree. So again, there's always that polarity and balancing of lives as well as within the lives. So the reflecting swans have been coming up here, a lot of that joyful life together. Here it was coming up with the card here comes up with the Queen of Wands and the Page of Cups, which is very much that Queen of Wands coming up as that toxic energy, and the Page of Cups is the pure innocent energy. And being in energetic exchange with the King of Pentacles, the divine feminine high priestess sharing good wishes and love to remember to love self first and don't drink the water. And that could be someone going outside the country as well, whose systems aren't used to the kind of water in another country. So just be careful about that. So at 10:39, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Cups, there could also be some tainted well water here. So be careful if you use well water on your property or just another country where your system isn't used to it, like I just said. The Queen of Wands, Page of Cups, and the King of Pentacles, and the islands perhaps, or the countryside, self-love, new love, and clover was also coming up. And I guess that song is coming up now, Clover Over and Over. At 10:41, which is that turn for the better of love, self-love, spiritual love, and then that energy leads to new love, of course, because you attract in the energy that you are. So female friends, mother and daughters, sisters, presents to each other, the gift to each other, a true reflection of their power sides and loving sides, or the divine masculine and divine feminine each, armed with their own truth. At 10:43, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Cups of coming together. Standing up for self with the key to freedom, from work perhaps, or just aligning and getting your ducks in a row, checking tickets and times and details and tests, exams, magnifying bacteria or viruses, grounding, integrating, and mastering the receiving of love, or going to the gym and just learning how it is that you receive love, because everybody receives love in a different way, right? Because everyone's needs are different. And not make things bigger than they are. While the Queen of Cups is nesting the dream and things are looking up, the Knight of Cups takes a risk or a crapshoot, and the King of Wands in a family or lover's breakthrough, or thank God the sun came out, or the storms have cleared. With Pisces, Fire, Aquarius, and Gemini here, as well as the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands and a message of love, or two ladies discussing the need to clear weeds, the garden, or perhaps a toxic plant that may be overtaking the others, or maybe that toxic plant is actually feeding them, because there's always a balance, even in gardening, of toxic plants that actually allow some plants to survive, right? Because they keep the toxic stuff away from that plant that may be toxic to that plant. So there's a delicate balance in nature, as we all know. So destined message of discernment here, the ability to see what's good for you and what's not good for you. The total lunar eclipse and galactic sudden events, the stars and the indigo moon, the soulmates, loving children, fond memories, and going away together or going within. Lots of water here, including the ocean, as Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer, and the third eye, and sudden romance are coming up. The 16th was coming up, as well as June 1st and July 2nd, and Cancer season, or a reprieve between the full moon. It's like a reprieve, like now through the beginning of June 1st, and then back to those same energies again in Cancer season. I was getting then not only Cancer season, but 6 to 10, which would be June to October, or Gemini to Libra. So again, that 4-month period or cycle. Aquarius to Gemini, and then Gemini to Libra. And then the explosion of romance after September harvest, as Scorpio's powerful mid-moon and mid-cycle journey, and a galactic profound event here. So they were taking me to July 18th, 23, where the North Node goes to Aries, So it changes from Taurus to Aries. And it's very significant, July 18th, 23, not only that day, but the time period there, because that's like graduation period for us every year from July to August in Lionsgate. And Lionsgate in 23 is that every 20-year period of when the UFOs started coming in, right? So 43, 63, 83, 2003. So there's always some kind of major events that happened regarding our relationship, our galactic relationship. And then 23 is that next period in August. So they were bringing up that period again next year, resonating with the Taurus node, then changing into Aries on July 18, 23, prior to the every 20-year event that's due in August 2023, next year. And then I was getting that 23 cycle through 2032. But I was also getting it from 2016. So here the 16's coming up again. So not only 23 through 32, but 16 through 32, which is a 16-year period. So I was trying to find an astrological connection to that, because that's not my specialty. And so the only thing that came up for me was in Vedic astrology. So for those of you who do look into that kind of energy, the connection I was getting was the Jupiter 16 years in Vedic astrology, or Vedic astrology, however you want to pronounce it, where Jupiter squared Saturn. And there was a 16-year energy around this. 3 and May 16th. So Saturn squaring Neptune was close to conjunct the natal Neptune for those who were born in 1970 through 1984. Questioning illusion, dreams, addictions, vulnerabilities exposed. Uranus Taurus 524 to Gemini Twins 832, the year 32. And this was coming up from the website Ganesha Speaks. And again, there's asteroid talk there too about the that coming, supposedly coming close in 32, but of course that's not going to happen. So two other sites that came up was Macedonia and Dimension, wordpress.com, and that was from September 21, 16. So here again, the year 16 was coming up, and the fall equinox, right? 9/21/16. So that was significant. And so I wrote down 12/21/2016, because that's the next topic that was coming up on this website. Because as you know, that was a big date for us, right? 12/21 and 16. The big cosmic light blast, where on this website they were talking about everything changes at this point. And right as I wrote Stargates activated, this huge thunder came in, and there was nothing going on outside. I think it was kind of a gloomy day. It seemed like it could rain or something like that. But it was nothing. Out of nowhere, just like I told you, when it's 11:11 on my clock right now. Just as I told you, it was 28:08 on this clock. When I was in the south of France getting baptized by Mercedes Kirkle, because that's what Mary Magdalene used to do, where the fresh water meets the salt water. That was her baptism place. So Mercedes did that same ritual with us on the trip. And right when she baptized me, there was one thunder that came in and nothing else. It never rained, like nothing, or, no more thunder and lightning came up. It was just that one big blast came up when I was baptized. So it was really cool for me, obviously, at that time. But that same blast came up right when I wrote Stargates activated from that 12/21/2016 activation. And that was at the time 11/23. It could have been 11/22 to 23, but again, that's where we are right now in that 22 to 23 energy, which we're supposed to be wrapping things up in this cycle that we've been through in 23. But 22 came up as well because they wanted me to go into November of this year. Now remember, in the 13 signs, when you go into Ophiuchus, Scorpio is only 1 week long. Which is like the 6 to 7 days of the creation of Earth. And here we are focusing on Scorpio full moon eclipse, as well as Scorpio in the South Node. And when you go into that 13 cycle astrological chart, Scorpio is only seen as the 23rd to the 29th of November. So here we have November 23rd of the year 2022 this year. So there's something very specific happening in Scorpio this year, which is actually the 13 signs Scorpio, which is 1123, not 10, but 1123 to 1129, and it represents that the week of creating the earth, the 6th and then the 7th day. And that's when that thunderbolt came out of the blue. And again, there was no other thunder and lightning. It did start like a spring shower outside, but there was no other thunder and lightning, just that one big blast when the stargates were activated 12/12/16. And then it was pouring that rain. And again, when I looked up 11/23/22, it was the day before Thanksgiving and 38 days left of the year, which is the Mary Magdalene energy of the Queen of Cups. So it was very significant here. And again, the Queen of Cups is water, which is Scorpio. 11/23/22, that week is very significant here. And then that leads into a Ophiuchus of 11:30 to 12:17. So I was trying to look up more of a connection. Those of you who deal with astrology and Vedic may have more insight into this. Maybe you can comment below if you're getting triggered to anything by what I'm talking about. The one thing I did find was a Mars-Mercury conjunction connection here of the years from 16 to 32. So any of those of you who do astrology, let me know if you're seeing a connection there in the Mars-Mercury conjunctions. And again, to what I've just talked about. So at 11:25, which is the alignment, again, the justice of truth and balance, the 25 of the Knight of Wands, commenced September 22nd to 10/21. And by the way, did I tell you the other site? Was there a third site there? No, just those two sites had come up. I told you already. The commencement from 9/22 to 10/21, unleashing the truth in the beginning of the new earth reality. So literally that's, prepping us for the 11/23 this year, 9/22 to 10/21. So the Libra time period here. And unleashing the truth in the beginning of the new earth rather, but they were talking about back in 2016. But this is coming up for this year as well. For that reality in the unified field of consciousness, the cosmic memory activation that happened back in 16, and the second coming, the Christ consciousness, which, is also always referenced as the time period in early December. And the cartel exposed they went into, the controllers losing control, and they're talking about back in 16 when this all started. The mothership arrives the fourth quarter. And again, now we're seeing all the ships coming into. Oh, by the way, in my meditation, before I went down the shore, the meditation I'd done the night before, I literally saw all of the ships in place, just waiting there for us. There was a city-sized ship they were talking about here regarding the Elohim Guardians and the help of the galactic humanities in the 3D to 5D shift. The inner Earth cities of light will remove the radiation from the oceans, which is interesting because Indigo... I don't usually watch her because her information is a little bit heavy for me. Or in other words, it's, it doesn't sink into my brain easily. So it's not anything negative about her. But I was listening to her Indigo Angel video about her swan grid. And she was just talking about the inner Earth cities that will be coming up. So that's why this is coming up from my message as well, to confirm those energies. So again, the starships are all in place. As you all know, we've talked about the arcs at the bottom of the ocean. We don't know where all of them are at this point, but we do know some of them are there, including the Bermuda Triangle. The inner Earth cities of light will remove the radiation from the oceans. And I've been getting that energy of the whales really struggling in the dark energy because they're really part of what balances us on the planet. And then the new Earth established, but will take a few years to rebuild, which we are at now, right? Because this was back in 2016, and now we're in 22. Those 6 years later. And then 23 comes up as the 7th year from 2016. So there again is that energy of the 6th and into the 7th day. So September 18th, 16, and this was coming, and that's what happens to be my birthday, but again, it's a confirmation for me, was coming up from the website in5d.com. Also, another site came up, 41616 crystalwind.ca. And again, they were just bringing up prime disclosure stuff, the same as above, and coming in 3 waves. That the first 2 waves would converge, and then the final wave is like a clearing wave that comes in of the light energies. And then September 27th, 16, which was very significant to me because that's when I started really activating my light body with my twin. Mars enters Capricorn exaltation in the place of power. So the Mars enters Capricorn in the placement of exaltation, a big placement of power there. And that's the day, like the 27th to the 28th is when I started really feeling the energetic connection with my twin and going into that really that initial bliss kind of connection. So this was coming up at 11:37, which is justice and alignment of the King of Cups, unconditional love, and then 11:38, which is the Queen of Cups, and prime disclosure here regarding the Divine Feminine, Mary Magdalene, which is the template of the twin flames, the Jesus and Mary Magdalene energies. And here coming up, not only with the shadow play that I watched on the beach yesterday, but the energy of the eclipse, where the feminine is standing in front of the masculine saying, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her, which is a message coming up for you guys right now. I wasn't expecting that. So 2015, also I was wondering about 2015 because that's actually, I'm sorry, not 16. That's not when I activated with my twin. It was 9/28/15, the year before. But that date also came up, 9/28/15, in the same kind of energy. So again, whatever it was for you, 15 to 16 was definitely a starting point for these energies. ForeverConscious.com came up, where they stated that the frequency of the planet was raising from 2 to 3 hertz, and the rapid awakening, most significant date for all shifts, was coming up as 9/28/2015, which I literally had seen my twin and realized I was connecting to him like etherically, like we had this like physical connection. And this came up at 11:11 when I wrote this down. So again, I just told you 11:11 on the clock. So there's another confirmation. So 9/28/2015, and I think actually Lori Ladd had brought up that date too, because I remember that we activated exactly at the same time. So blood moon eclipse came up here, as well as the September 1st huge wave of the Neptune, huge wave. I don't know, wage could be coming up for someone as well, of the Neptunian energy felt of that, what others would call as illusion energy, but we all know also is the imagination and our actual intention of creating a new world for ourselves. The 9/10 or September 10th, Mars and Venus rare aspect to align soulmates, twin flames, and self-love. The cosmic lovers, and again, this was September 2015, that this aspect wouldn't be this close again for years to come. Instituting a huge wave of consciousness and love and vibration of connection. September 17th, Saturn left Scorpio, and the shift was felt globally at that time. So again, there's Scorpio energies coming up. And then there was just some aspects coming up in another website, and me trying to find, again, connections between aspects of 16 to 32. From earthsky.org, Mercury and Mars conjunctions came up 9/16/17 and 8/23/32, were when it was they were that close in conjunction, or in other words, less than 0.1 degree. So again, that relationship between Mercury and Mars, which is communication and action. And there were 3 aspects, and they don't aspect every year. And in 15, they aspected 4/23, 5/27, and 7/16. But they weren't less than 1 degree, but they did aspect as conjunct. So in Vedic, that's when the 16 years came up related to Jupiter. So any of those of you who know about that kind of stuff, can comment below if you have any further information to add. And that's based on the lunar position at birth and relates to 27 stars. And this was coming up from astrology.com.au. that Saturn was very important. The lunar position of the lunar position was of a great importance and consideration in the 7.5 year cycle, which came up a lot in the Jesus 40-day and 40-night type of era, which equals the Sandesti, a very challenging cycle. And that's so weird. I think Adesti actually came up in my code line in the last read. I'll have to look back at that. So I looked up my free chart real quick, because I don't know if I'd done that before for my Vedic astrology, but my moon in regular astrology is in Capricorn, but it came up in Sagittarius in the Vedic chart. And where my Mars and Mercury are Libra, it came up as them both in Virgo, which I am a sun sign Virgo. So it's just interesting to see the differences there. Okay, so those of you who know about that kind of astrology, let me know in the comments. So then at 1236, which is the Hanging Man, the 36 of the Atlas energy again, and the weight of the world, after the star and the cards that come up and the moon together, which is very much that indigo energy, as I just brought up indigo angel, that indigo energy of the star and the moon, the eclipse and June and Cancer season keep coming up over and over again. Scorpio season then, which again is that week in the 13 sign cycle of 1123 to 1129, and public judgment and anxiety or release of anxiety with nature, wise divine feminine counsel, or hanging out with wise partners in a wake-up call to what's toxic for you. The Queen of Wands, Cancer, or gardening and allergies as well. Birds, flowers, plants, and fruit trees were all coming up here. Death, embalming, hospitals, and old age facilities exposed. Autopsies and messes to clean up. Kids, pets, and burned bridges, or weak bridges, twin bridges. Leo and the King of Wands, perhaps after a death, or the ending with the Queen of Wands, as well as the Queen of Cups and King of Cups coming up. So there's two different couples coming up here together, and that can represent the masculine in their karmic couple and their twin flame couple as well, or they're literally two different couples. And that can just be siblings as well. It doesn't have to be a romantic couple. But the King and Queen of Cups are coming up at home, perhaps the Emperor too, or the King of Cups is the Emperor, or living with your parents after a split, a death, or an illness. And the Knight of Wands inspired by a commitment with the Page of Wands. There's a lot of fire energy here. King, Queen, Page, and Knight all coming up right here. With codes and books of safe, or someone perhaps has a safe for a ring, or that it's safe for the ring. And again, the ring is the circle, which I just brought up as the feminine in alchemy, shaping things to come. And the Page of Wands with abundant 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community. The wounded warrior suffering in silence, or perhaps sister who's uprooted, and a loving man, twin flame, or with new path of self-love, spiritual love and new love, with the Hermit or Virgo Queen of Swords, perhaps with flowers, again gardening coming up, her gifts and presents, or being present in the moment, perhaps a fiery family now, with parents, King of Cups and Queen of Cups. So this could be a fire family with issues, living with their parents, or relying on them perhaps, or perhaps the King of Cups is the Emperor, and maybe he's taking care of everyone now because he can afford to help these people out. Loving man coming together through the labyrinth, or the maze of confusion, each figuring it out on their own, in their own lane, coming to the center, right? Everyone headed towards the same place, but in their own way, in their own lane. The King of Swords, spiritual, peaceful union in the sun. And again, that's it's reflecting off of the Queen of Swords who came up earlier as well, as that Virgo energy. And then the King of Swords, spiritual, peaceful union in the sun, exposure or group vacation or new life, burdened by sharing or having to settle out. The rider on the magic adventure of self-love with Gemini and Virgo, which references Mercury again, the messenger, the communication planet. And again, that connection with Mars, and perhaps with delivery, the Page of Pentacles and or Libra, aligning or cracking the whip with the kids or staff as the Power Man 28, which can be the twin or the choice of path, with love on his mind and not taking any more crap. So again, being discerning at 1249, which is the Hanging Man, and the Get Your Wish card, the 9 of Cups. So the Divine Feminine merged and the Divine Masculine is on their way soon. The underlying energy is all about inspirational communication as Gemini is on its way. Perhaps 5/28 is significant here, or the 4-week cycle. And then November 28th too, being the part of that week of Scorpio in the 13-month cycle. Okay. So then we have the next read was this from the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot. Okay, and it just goes in the line of the story. This is the underlying energy. This is the bottom of the deck. And then we have it starting off, and the cards just came out the way they were supposed to come out, and that is the story. So this message was done at 1:20, which is the 1 of the Magician, the 20 of the Judgment. And the underlying energy, and it's 11:28 on the clock right now, again, the twin flame energy with alignment, truth and balance of justice. And it's just turned 45:45 on this clock, which is the 5 of Cups. It was actually 45:44, which is the 5 of Cups and the 4 of Cups of the grieving, purging card. And then the 44 of grounding, integrating, and learning how to receive love. Perhaps boredom and apathy as well. So the underlying energy for this read was the coming together of the Queen of Pentacles with Scorpio and or death, the endings or big changes with clarity at work, satisfaction, but the Emperor reversed without the sun or their sunshine, and no options or no pool table or no foosball table. So someone let go of some of their stuff or they moved out. Or feeling incomplete, the world upside down, or Scorpio upright with Aries, Pisces, and Libra reversed in a twist of fate and or downturn where things aren't working out, so the wounded warrior just surrenders or gives up the fight. Taking a load off, looking peaceful, but not. They're still untrusting of the energies, right? And this is about learning to have faith, right? Faith is being fully trusting of the universe, that it has your back. You can't just look peaceful on the outside and have a backup plan for later. This is this energy of the 7 of Swords here, where they're looking peaceful, but they have their ace up their sleeve. So looking peaceful, but not trusting, as the Knight of Wands reversed, not trusting that they have your best interest at heart. Or this is you, the wounded warrior, Knight of Wands reversed, with an ace up your sleeve. But remember, even if they're not trustworthy, it's not for you to worry about, right? You don't need to get revenge or get even or create the balance, because nature will automatically do that for you, especially if you stay in your high vibration and allow the changes to occur that are for your highest good. The universe will automatically help you and bring things right into your field as far as what your next steps should be, if there should be any, and just trusting that your guidance is there, that you take action when you're guided to. And you know this, so you don't question. Perhaps you surrendered, but maybe you only surrendered temporarily, which is fine. Don't beat yourself up about this stuff. We are human. We're learning how to do this. The 4 of Pentacles upright, the Divine Masculine's heart, the Star, or the Divine Masculine healer, or healed, or dreams coming true here, or again, the Star, or not letting go of their dreams. The 10 of Cups reversed, emotional cycle may be over, or an unhappy family that may not be sleeping well, or perhaps there's a baby in the house keeping them all awake, or a pet not happy that you're leaving them. With the Hierophant with the key to take care of things, Taurus or neighbor or the responsible one, perhaps someone helping you out, or with Magician or Gemini or Virgo, again that Mercury energy looking the other way, perhaps when they put the code in, or Hierophant, again this could be someone taking care of someone else's house and coming to open the door. Maybe they have a lock that's a key code and someone else is looking the other way when they put in the code because someone wanted to make sure that nobody else could get in while they're not home. Or the Hierophant and Magician are just really excited. Or a pet is to be with the King of Swords reversed, detoxing with the Page of Swords upright, so a lot of air signs here, or leaving a message here. And this could be, leaving messages about their pet while the King of Swords may be away at detox, or any kind of detoxing. It could be just something simple for the day, or leaving a message. Breaking patterns as or with the King of Wands reversed, or the King of Wands reversed dropped the ball, and now the King of Pentacles reversed is healing and forgiving them. So now we have 3 kings in a row all reversed. The King of Swords, the King of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles healing and forgiving them, defenseless to the group or the energies, and disconnect or at a distance, with choices to make or orders to make, or seeing synchronicities or confused on what to do here. At 133, which is the Magician and the 33 of the Christ vibration, and standing up for yourself without getting defensive, being loving, the Knight of Cups upright, and the Queen of Wands reversed, who may be bored and keeping to themselves, released to go away from a falling out, or just going to miss them, or worry while they're away. A child or a pet or soulmate left behind here. Perhaps the sister, or suffering in silence, or they're stressed out, or sharing with the Queen of Swords, who may be out in the cold and feeling injured or ill, or suddenly needy, or sudden blackout, or electric went or failed. Or Scorpio is feeling left out under the radar. Again, not telling people. They're trying to put off this peaceful energy on the outside. And the Page of Wands upright, excited to see the Page of Pentacles here, which can be two kids, two pets, or just two adults who are feeling kid-like when they come together. The Fool now free to leap into the injustice of Aries, or into Aries with Libra in their chart. Looking forward to peace with the Page of Cups, that beautiful, innocent, loving energy, or puppy love. Or there ain't no sunshine when she's gone. As the Hermit is alone with the light or the candle lit so they can see their way, the Ace of Pentacles upright is the offer of time, money, and energy to the group for fun and games, or cause conflict with the Empress reversed or Taurus reversed on vacation in the sun, or exposed all about the High Priestess, Pisces, and the Ten of Pentacles family, business, or community, and making the Knight of Pentacles feel small, or the Knight of Pentacles is just humbled by them, or that's their family. This is someone saying, well, maybe my family is very abundant, but that's not me. And this could also be after electricity went out. The Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles found ways around it, like the Page of Cups is, or their mother's always home, or offered help to the Empress reversed. And that could be a Taurus reversed as well as Pisces mother Virgo perhaps offered to Taurus reversed, fully charged with guidance too about the universe, abundance, and lots of family, and there's always someone there for them at 145. Again, the Magician and the 45 of that energy of loss and grief, and having someone there for you that you can count on when you're going through this kind of energy. And it's 11:35 on the clock, which has to do with the wounded warrior there and aligning with that. It just turned 35 on this clock too, with 52, which is the Queen of Swords. So again, that could be Libra, Queen of Swords, and the wounded warrior energy, dealing with Taurus, which are both Venus energies, and being there for each other in grief. And that can just be having a bad day, right? The purging card can be just a purge. Something came up and you had to cry. Or maybe you have a rash, or maybe you are getting hot flashes, or ringing in your ears, or getting lots of stress in your face or your heart. Whatever those energies coming up for you is okay. At 9 o'clock, it was at the top of the next page, which is the time of Jesus, right? From 9 to 3. So 9 a.m., the double zeros of source energy backing up the 9 of the Hermit, which is also the collective consciousness at the same time, which is your connection from your individual self to the collective. We're all each those energies of the Hermit and the collective all at once. Again, straddling both worlds in a different way. You're straddling the masculine and the feminine. You're straddling the 3D and the 5D, and you're straddling the individual and the all of the Hermit and the collective. With then 11:23, 22, or 23 was coming up. So when 11:23 came up with that big sonic boom of the thunder, I had to question, was it 2022 coming up or 2023? So it felt more significantly that the date 11:23 was coming up for this year, 2022. But then overall, the year 23 was coming up as very significant with Thunder and Scorpio. And again, 11:23 to 29 this year. And then I looked up Your Tango came up.com, May 16th, 22, which was that day that I was writing this. The eclipse brings truth into relationship. And then 5:28 was coming up as significant there, as Venus returns into Taurus and returning to love, May 28th. And then June 3rd, which happens to be my dad's birthday, and this is this year, Mercury direct in Gemini. And again, Mercury's been coming up this read. So the energy of Mercury direct in Gemini, strong in decisions, etc., and accepting all sides of ourselves, right? The dark and the light, and not being hard on yourself when we fall into a lower vibration, because we work in loops of energy. So you're going to have a sprint up in energy of that high vibration, then you're going to loop back to review it before you move up higher again. So never feel like you're falling behind, because you can't. Like once you're set in a lighter energy, you can't go back. You can only go forward, but you can feel the down loop of review in order to go back up again. So accepting all sides of yourself, the dark and the light. And then June 4th also came up, of Saturn retro in Aquarius, outside the box with love relationships there. So I looked up 11/23/22 to see what aspects are that day, and Jupiter turns direct in Pisces that day. So again, the energy of Jupiter in the 16 years. It goes back into Pisces the second time this year, expecting themes from the beginning of this year, 22, as well as June 2021, to resurface for a final time. And again, this came up from that website, yourtango.com. And all about meshing together our dreams and acting in love. 11/23/23, I just saw Moon in Aries, the Sun Sagittarius squares Saturn in Pisces. So it wasn't as much of a significant thing, but I feel like the whole year of 2023 is actually significant. There will definitely be pockets that are more significant that year as well that will come up. So then on my run that day, a rabbit crossed my path. So not only did the toad show up at my doorstep the day before, but now the rabbit crossed my path on my journey, so I had to look up the rabbit information. And also, it was, by the way, I was running on Dewey, and the rabbit was at house number 41, which is the Ace of Cups. So it was very beautiful energy. Dewey love. And they crossed my path from right to left, so focusing northeast on the divine feminine there. And from mydreamssymbolic.com, the rabbit was all about, in truth, and I love this, in truth, the fight takes place between the male and the female. If he can hold his own and then beat her in a race, she agrees to the pairing, and this is the rabbit. Speed, fertility, vanity, gentle, unprotected, dawn, creation and new beginnings, or complete sacrifice of oneself, and connected to the moon, longevity and happiness. And again, the toad was connected to the moon as well in the definition. Longevity and happiness. If it crosses your path, it's certainly a happy event. We can expect a great deal of happiness, blessings, and even money coming your way, with rabbits always seen as good luck, and it's rare that this is not true. Then angelicalbalance.com, it said 8 spiritual meanings of the rabbit crossing your path. It's a message for you, a new beginning, good luck, fertility, sensitivity, gentleness, and a reminder to be empathetic and compassionate and not desensitized, which many of us are. You know, I worked in a hospital for 25 years, so of course I was desensitized to death because we deal with it every day. So from right to left is a message with the feminine energy in it. Fertility, motherhood, and female power. You will be lucky and abundant. 2, you will make a right decision. You can express feelings to others. You can make a hasty decision. And it wasn't coming up as a negative thing. It was coming up being able to think on your feet, or being able to think quickly, or be careful and think on your feet and make wise decisions at the same time. And then don't become desensitized. Be ready to face your anxieties or shyness, right, that the rabbit is. And are you in fear? Be hopeful about your future and embrace yourself and your God-given abilities. The rabbit signs that you are vulnerable. So embrace yourself just as you are, even if you are shy or vulnerable. Trust your intuition. Also, on my path when I was running, a robin stopped and landed on the sidewalk in front of me, and they wouldn't move. I kept walking near them. I thought they would fly away right away, but they didn't. And that was on my way up to John's Street. So it took a bit before they flew away, and I laughed at them because it was kind of out of character for them. So there's a message too. That was at 9:46. Birds flying around you or in front of you are a sign of harmonious personal relationship and reminds us of our connection not only to humans but to animals and the rest of the planet as well. So then we have my message of the day here, which is my 4-deck read, where I have the Wild Unknown Oracle deck, that's more of the guidebook, and then the Lenormand Reverie, the Gilded Tarot, and the Kipper deck here. These are the underlying energies here, and the order is this pile, this pile, this pile, then this one, and then this one is the last one down here. Okay? So for this read, and this was at 9:55 to 59, and 55 is the truth, 59 is the 5 of swords, right, the war within, and the hermit, which is the one and the collective. The underlying energy was the octopus, the dice, the page of cups reversed, and the mature man. The dice comes up with the number 39, and the mature man comes up with the 5, which is the Hierophant. 39 is the Knight of Cups. So the main frame here with extensions, so we could be dealing with big companies or just energies that reach far and wide. The octopus teacher and the Knight of Cups taking a chance with the page of cups reversed, and that can be very vulnerable, childlike, innocent energy, or it can be a spoiled energy as well, and that can be the same in both of those in one person as well. And it can just be a baby crying a lot. So again, taking a chance with this type of energy, your vulnerabilities, which just came up regarding the rabbit, but yet being worldly and the mature man at the same time. And being able to be that, especially for the masculine energy, them being allowed to be in that vulnerable state, and that it's not unmanly, but it's natural for you to be a human. It's 11:44 on the clock, and 1:01:37 to 38 on this clock, which is the two magician embodiments of the King and Queen of Cups. Beautiful energy at 11:44. So the nightingales singing here, or with their sweet voice, but the Black Panther is telling them all to step back. I got this. The lamb and octopus, only the ones paying attention here. And Patchy was coming up, as well as Apache that came up with my great-grandfather's book the other day when I read to you. He was dealing with the Apache Indians. But also Patchy was coming up, which I think is my brother's nickname. His grandkids call him. But that might be something for you as well. Something that's patchy, that's in patches. The father energy, Pennsylvania, was also coming up, and Peter Pan. But the cheater was also coming up. The Dr. Vulture. The Velk, Dr. Velk or Dr. Elk. And somebody was just talking about elks yesterday. Or the vet also coming up, which can be a veteran or the veterinarian. To who law, or clear the vulnerable lamb. The octopus opus, which is October opus, was also coming up. So that's, the opus is your life's work. And I was just getting the movie with, what's his name? He's Scorpio. So we're moving from the October opus to that week of the 13-month astrological chart of Scorpio from 11/23 to 29 this year. So it's like they were reviewing in this read today the energies of September building things up into the October opus, going into that, the week of creating the earth again in Scorpio, 11/23 to 29. The nightingale sings, the 7th trumpet, the 7th sign, which is coming up as Libra. As the panther hisses, and remember Libra too, now in the regular chart is September to October, but in the 13-month chart, it's more October into 11/23 of that week. As the panther hisses, the cheetah is about to pounce, and the dragonfly is about to mate in a heart shape, pulsing two as one. The vulture is standing by on cleanup duty, as the elk with his son, his legacy. The turtle is slow, go on without me, as the hummingbird clears the air, flapping their wings, between the turtle and the sweet lamb, the target, and the whales who are exhausted beneath the seas with all that dark energy, taking on those dark energies, taking the hit for us, like on a raft and needing a lifeline extended, with the octopus teacher who dies for their pride, their children, at 10:20, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 20 of Judgment, the wake-up call. The loving man, 28, or the twin flame with rose. I was just getting Megan Rose. For the Queen of Cups, twin bridges, damaged. And the 16th eclipse of the journeyman. So the eclipse that just happened was on the 16th. And again, the 16 years of 16 to 32. The loving man, 28, with a rose for the Queen of Cups, the Mary Magdalene energy. The twin bridges that were damaged. The 16th eclipse of the journeyman. The 6 of Cups, the soul ties or kids and going away with them. Scorpio and Cancer at mid-moon, or just water signs in general here, with June or Cancer season and diving deep in love on the Fool's journey. The Queen of Pentacles with the Knight of Cups rolling the die. The 5 and the 6 of the Pent and the Hex, expanding and distributing the Penta and Hexa in the 1-1 or the 11 alignment. After dreams come true, the Page of Wands is first in line for payment or to receive their share, with the Knight of Swords upright, trying to cut in line in front of them to end the stress, or just cutting in front to end the stress or nightmare of the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community at 11/29, which is my son's birthday. A lot of our birthdays are coming up today. The 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, frustrated about exposure of the Page of Pentacles upright and the Page of Cups reversed. Again, the shadow lovers coming up of those inner children. One who's very studious and a good student and very curious about life in general, and the other one very vulnerable and loving and shy. And the shadow lovers with health or healthcare issues, and the King of Wands to the courthouse or filing legal papers. As the man with sudden thoughts of a woman. I was just getting the maddening, and I was getting Medina. Is it Medina? No, I can't think of it. So the movies, the Mad Woman, right? Is it Medina? I'm just blanking out on the name, of his movies. But you know what I'm talking about. So the little girl, the man with sudden thoughts of a woman, perhaps the little girl or the inner child, the moon child, and the divine feminine high priestess, the main female, or the little girl and the woman, the child who grew up so fast, at 10:38, which again is that Wheel of Fortune and the 38 of the Queen of Cups, or the Mary Magdalene energy, or on a cruise, Atlas, and distant horizons, but nowhere to anchor, or Anchorage, Alaska, which was so funny that came up. My brother's actually right now on a cruise in Alaska with his wife. The high vibe journey of the train, with mature man looking at the globe, free to change, travel, and expand, or the father setting up his kids before he gets sick or old, and not thinking about these things, or now thinking about these things because perhaps they weren't, or a parent who would die for their kids, or perhaps a mother who had passed in childbirth years ago. At 10:45, which is the wheel and the 45 of purging, that 5 of Cups, the first card or section out was the Scorpion and the Tarantula. The two, the Scorpion and the Tarantula are two of people's least favorite things, right? The triggering and the scary looking. The Scorpion makes a lover's breakthrough, and the King of Wands and King of Swords reversed, wealthy man in transition, where the Tarantula may be at crossroads here, with wise divine feminine counsel, or weak in death, perhaps a lawyer taking advantage, or a financial advisor at 10:51, there's that King of Swords again, or literally someone died from a sting, and that can be a bug sting, or literally a sting, right? So somebody was doing some illegal function there, and maybe there was a sting being played out. Or Scorpio, Gemini, Pisces, and Leo reversed here, or Scorpio taking advantage of Leo, or lost his pet, or bit by the bug. And again, that could be, getting inspired by something, got bit by the bug. At 10:54 is the wheel and the Page of Swords, that message. The second section is the stingray, the oyster, and the firefly. And for those of you vegetarians, remember that oyster sauce has fish in it. Because, they don't always list oyster. I was having dinner with my sister yesterday, and they listed under the vegetarian section something with oyster sauce in it, which isn't actually vegetarian. So I just wanted to point that out. Stingray is activated here with the stingray, oyster, and firefly. The stingray is activated and turned on by the oyster, who's all clammed up in peaceful union, traveling at night, inspired by great fortune of a child in transition, perhaps the Queen of Wands reversed. She may be inspired by unexpected income or just unexpected incoming, and Firefly may be inspired but discerning at the same time and patient, as the King of Cups is walking away impoverished here. And this can be someone walking away from everything they have because they don't want to deal with it anymore. Or maybe they are just leaving a situation because they're upset about something. That can be temporary. Or that can be a child also coming home to see their family. The King of Swords and the Page of Swords here, with the Page of Pentacles as well. Perhaps Scorpio, Sag, and Libra. Perhaps the Scorpio is the wealthy man in transition to poverty, rich man, poor man, and walking away from the King of Swords reversed and the Page of Swords. Or both with air, Scorpio and fire, and child is walking away from the King of Swords reversed because they no longer resonate with that parent or sibling or whoever that is to them, both air signs. The third section is the elephant, or Ellie, can be coming up, the camel and zebra. The elephant with wise Two of Cups direction, getting over exile, illness, or court decision, perhaps a union adjudication. The camel is blue in the dance of death, or doctor and patient and powerless lovers in the courtship, stable, or emperor's courtship here. The zebra is activated, grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love, or perhaps at the gym, or taking a closer look, a test or exam. The Page of Wands with a message and loving, mature woman at 11:22, which is again November this year, 11:22, the alignment of the 22 of the Fool's Journey, come together in November. The recovery of the lover, or Gemini, Page of Swords, or actually the name Tim was also coming up, and Ellie, like I said, and the Two of Cups dance of the lovers, the union in the home, the mother and child, Leo, Gemini, and Aries here. The fourth section is unicorn, fish, and owl, etheric gateholder. The fish is out of water, and the wise owl, perhaps the unicorn with romantic or Cancer pup, wanting the Ten of Cups family to take their lead or perhaps take them out, letting go to the Queen of Cups. Perhaps this is a child or a pet who really misses you. Maybe you're away on a vacation or for work or whatever it is. But remember to maybe FaceTime your pets because they may think something happened to you and be worried. It's 11:55 on the clock. So remember to FaceTime them when you're away just so they know you're okay and they don't worry because they worry about you too. Fish may be scattered or just all over the place energies with the High Priestess's luck, justice, and Libra there to honor them. The wise owl, while the Queen of Cups with the Knight of Wands and the owl who are burdened, Libra may be unaware or didn't see, or out for a walk with pup in despair. And this could be energies too of leaving a pup, especially for young people who are roommates with other people and who may be getting attached to their pets and then they leave because they're not roommates anymore. This could be someone grieving a pet that they are very much in love with. The fifth section here is the butterfly, the shark, the crow, the worm, and the dragon. The transformation of the Queen of Swords hermit, awake to energetic exchange or rising above a busy occupation, or the shark in public world in a spin, or the wounded warrior's path, or Aquarius with Pisces and Sagittarius at 11:42, which is alignment with the Two of Cups, and the crow standing guard before coming home. So again, that's like the masculine ground crew, at the 3D gate, having to stand guard before being able to come home. At 11:43, alignment with coming together, defenseless to the energies of confusion, third party, and the hermit with changes or hermiting the changes, the crow being the 3D gate holder. And again, here's the birds coming up, being very powerful and a big energy here, or totem for us. And the unicorn, the 5D, so the two gate holders are coming up here in two separate sections, but are very close. The 3D gate holder and the unicorn 5D gate holder are facing each other in different sections or different families type of energy, but they're very close to coming together. There are only 6 degrees of separation. The worm or crows tied up in knots, justice of cracking the whip with the page of wands and the tower event, the sudden events or the epiphany or the sexual exchange with the queen of wands thief or those energies, perhaps the one who stole their heart. The dragon nesting the dream, praying for news or a letter, to break the seal, the 7th seal. So again, there's that energy of the week in November, 11/23 to 29. The vehicle of infiltration here, right? The Scorpio sting. And then going into Ophiuchus in December, leading up to 12/21, again, the second coming, right? Is during that time period every year. The rising of the divine feminine in the 5D, or Pisces reversed and defenseless world suddenly brought to their knees. The energetic exchange of the wounded warrior and the hermit, and the Queen of Wands stealing a message or stealing a document. But when I wrote document, the O ended up being really big, so that must mean something to somebody. So sealed document with the O, capital O, document or document. DO, maybe a DO as well, a sealed document. So maybe someone needs their medical records from their DO. The Queen of Wands stealing a message or sealed document. And again, that could be a dentist as well. At 12:01, again, opening your throat chakra. The 12 and the 6, the hanging man and the lovers. The power lady is home with a letter to the power man, with reflecting swans. So here again, the swan grid is coming up again, which is Indigo Angel's thing. She talks all about the swan grid. A present or gift to the emperor or home. The union inspired here. The union inspiration, the communication, the text. Perhaps an evaluation or writings. The truth to the King of Cups, which is also unconditional love. In her risky writing or letter to the twin flame power man in love. The Queen of Wands and Page of Cups, and the bliss of the Queen of Cups reversed and the King of Cups reversed, and the King of Wands upright, tempted by the Holy Grail. The wise, privileged lady, an abundant marriage or empress here, and an older man with concerns of twin flame lady in waiting, and the Knight of Cups community backing them up, or a marriage of a child. Virgo, Aquarius, Libra, Aries, specifically Pisces is reversed and Scorpio is upright here, as well as Cancer and Taurus here as well. All right, and now it's 1:17:46 going on to 1:18. The star and the moon, which we started out with, and it's 12 on the dot on the clock right now. So we started out with the moon and the star, which is Aquarius and Cancer as well. But it's also the galactic event. It's the moon. The star card in that deck is 16, which is the tower. So there's Scorpio and Aquarius energy there, along with Cancer energy of the moon and June. So it was at 12 o'clock, right on the nose, right? That's when Cinderella turns back into Cinderella. Or was it really her to begin with? Maybe she was the princess all along. So next was yesterday morning where, I woke up to go to the beach. And it was a beautiful day. We'd planned it yesterday because we knew it was going to be like 73 degrees and sunny, a beautiful day. And so yesterday, again, was the 17 of the star energy, your dreams coming true, the 28 energy of the twin flames and choice of path. And since it was Ocean City, that can relate to other people who are dealing with the OC in California or Ocean City, Maryland. But there's that OC energy coming up, and that big O just came up in document as well. Perhaps it's a big O and a big C. Which I'm getting is the octave of Christ. The O is coming up as the throat chakra opening. I'm getting cannibalism as well for some reason. It can be cannabis as well. But opening up the chakra system about other things we never speak about that need to be seen. So again, I woke up around 9 o'clock. Again, there's that reference to 9 o'clock and that start of Jesus' death, right at 9 a.m. And I just pulled a quick card before I left for the day. And the card that came up in the underlying energy was the Root Girl. And this is the Shaman Dreams deck, which is 46, the children in the garden loving each other. And then the 24 of the Galactic Mushrooms. There's that 24 again of the Queen of Wands. And then the innocent children of the Six of Cups. And that can represent, soulmates or children coming together as well. Best friends, lovers, children, siblings. But the Galactic Mushroom came up as well as the first card out. And it's really cute, those two cards side by side, because they look like two siblings too, and very different energies as well, but who are very close soulmates. They were very cute, like their inner little kids. I have to show you those cards because the pictures are so cute. All right, so it's these two cards coming up together, kind of like that sibling energy, right? The Root Girl, who's this little girl in the tree, struggling to get out, and she's crying and she's all curled up and feeling alone. And then here's this Galactic Mushroom on the other side, the Divine Matrix, and the disowned root of the little girl, right? And then the 24 is also Omega, which is the end of the Greek alphabet, but can mark an ending on a community level for me. For me, the ending around the world is more of the 81 energy. So it's like the 4 and the 8, of the 4 being survival, whereas 8 is dreams, manifesting dreams as opposed to just survival. The same kind of energy comes up for 24s, that manifesting survival as opposed to the 81, which is your dreams around the world of heaven on earth. And here's that 46 of the inner children working it out between each other. And look at the faces. I love the faces in this deck, okay, here and here. They're very different energies there, and yet they're so close. And we have the energy of the root of the red and the green of the Galactic Mushroom, but also it's coming up as the mushroom can be beautiful and nutritious and can be poisonous as well. And the toadstool came up, which is a poison mushroom. And is this energy, this 24 energy, poisonous for this Root Girl over here? Are you being discerning here? And this can reference the needle thing too. And what the energy that you're hanging around with may be affecting you. Maybe you're not realizing that. So, and again, remember that love is first in every relationship. Love yourself first, and then love energies, right? We don't want to go into going into polarity, right? Seeing one thing is wrong and another thing is right. Allowing everyone to have their perspective. Everyone has their different destinies to play out, and that's okay. If something feels really uncomfortable for you, you don't need to hang out in that resonation, but you need not judge that other person for that either. So it's remembering that, because we all fall back into our old ways in certain ways, just to reflect that again, to realize what we're falling into so we don't do that again. So again, I left for my trip and I was behind that license plate of the DMM 9972, all about the Divine Masculine and the Mary Magdalene energy, as well as the compassion and the 72 by 2 of the 144. And I want to show you just a few of those pictures because they were just too beautiful not to see. And I'm going to post them on some of my stuff as well, but as well as you can see them from, device to device, they don't always come across very well. But this one, I mean, look at it was so clear, like this seagull was right in front of me, and look at the markings on this gull, like they're so perfect. Just really beautiful energies there. Oh, and then this last one too. It was so beautiful. So I'm going to post some of those pictures on a video, which we'll get to later. But it was just one of those, picture perfect days yesterday. My sister ran into an old friend. We were walking on the boardwalks, and we had to we were looking for gifts as well. And so it was just, everything just flowed perfectly. You're just in the right place, the right energy, getting done things that you need to get done in a very easy, loving way with no stress at all. And then I went for my session at 4 o'clock yesterday. So some of the stuff that came up here for me in this session, I want to share this with you because a lot of the stuff that comes up for me are messages for the collective as well. So the first thing that was coming up for me, because I had a back injury back in 2016, but it was reminding me too, I jammed my whole right side into my waist, right? So there was this major injury into my waist, reflecting both sides, right? Because the non-injured side always ends up taking the weight for the injured side, so both sides end up getting injured in this situation. But I also have a birthmark in the middle of my back, which I've always gotten as a wound from the Nazi time period, where I was a little boy running away from a soldier because he was holding me and I got away from him and they shot me in the back. But I wasn't dead when they threw me in the pit. So that was coming up again yesterday, that not only was my back injury when I fell regarding that spot, it was reliving my bullet wound injury from the camps. So I was bringing up that wound to clear. But I was also feeling that I was getting a cramp in my lower ribs on the right side, which I get sometimes, but it was connecting that injury to my left wing. So my right ribs, which is actually the area of the liver, right, which is where we store a lot of anger, and then my left wing, which is the feminine's wings being clipped, and this connection to my wounding in the middle of my back here at my waist. So that was coming up. Also, I was getting the left knee. I was getting I was seeing their higher selves working on me on my left knee side, which again, the joints hold anger, and here's the left side again, and the feminine being clipped over the past, thousands of years. And also, so it's very angelic energy coming in for the feminine here. And it was so weird then. I was getting a lot of connections to what they were doing and trying to connect with the different things they were doing. So they were using singing bowls, but they were also using stones, and they were laying them on my chest and my belly and that kind of thing, and trying to connect the two things, like whatever they did, what was happening in my body at the time that they were doing those things. And then all of a sudden I smelled some like aromatherapy, but I didn't like it. Like, I have trouble with a lot of those smells, and I really didn't like the first smell. It was hard for me to breathe it. But even for me, like eucalyptus is hard for me to take in. So it's not like they were doing anything wrong. It's just I smelled this smell, but I wasn't aware they were using aromatherapy, which, by the way, they weren't. But I smelled this smell. I didn't know what it was. And I didn't think it was cologne or anything, or essential oils that they might have been wearing on their bodies, because they were around me for the whole session. And I didn't smell any of these smells until they were working on my heart at the end. And I smelled this first smell. I'm not sure what it was, but I was having trouble breathing it in. And then right after that, another smell came up, which I also didn't resonate with because it was hard to take in, but it wasn't as bad as the first one. And it wasn't like they were awful smells. It's just I was having trouble breathing those energies in. But right after the second smell, all of a sudden I started purging, because I saw all of a sudden my eagle life came back in. And the masculine eagle who had been grieving all that time, right, who never made it again. The one I've told you about many times, of how painful the grief was. I just started crying again. I was grieving. My masculine eagle was laying down and laying himself to rest. He folded up his wings into his chest in the front, but his head was like at my feet, like he was facing me, as opposed to laying with his head at my head. It wasn't. It was opposite. And he was just laying at my feet with his head there. He rolled himself up with his wings into his chest and was literally surrendering. He was giving up that life of the wounded warrior, right? The bird life, as I explained to you before, that our wounded warrior comes from our animal lives and our stone lives, our element lives, the millions of years that we expanded before we became the human, in that child's pose, skinned as the wounded warrior. So here my ego was showing me that masculine life that I lived, that it's being surrendered now. Right, so we're letting go of that. It's that final push to let go of the wounded warrior, and I was just bawling again, releasing that energy. But it's so beautiful at the same time, because this masculine energy loved his mate so much. So again, it's that energy of closing out that life, no longer to be the wounded warrior and alone. I went to the light bed after that. And it continued the story. So there was also the energy of that masculine eagle climbing the tower like Quasimodo, like the hermit, being at the top of the church alone, so sad and climbing, in despair, climbing the tower and grieving alone, the aloneness. And then the memories, they were showing me the memories flashing by him of them flying together, which I'd also seen that life too when we were together flying off the mountain. It was beautiful. I was literally soaring off of our nest on the mountain together. So then Michaels were coming up. All these different Michaels I'd known, because they were bringing up, the eagle was becoming Archangel Michael as the wings were unfolding and coming out. So transforming into Archangel Michael and that Princess Aurora energy, where the eagle had become them in union. Also gymnastics came up. I did gymnastics when I was young, so all the wounds that you forget about as a child, because you get hurt so many times and those kind of things. Again, I did one of my big things when I was just learning gymnastics. I was practicing doing back handsprings in my basement. I fell on my head and I sprained my neck pretty good. I don't know what kind of injury that did to me, but it was also bringing up, because the woman who I was working with yesterday in my session was Romanian, and it brought back gymnastics because of Olga Korbut at that time when I was very young. So all of those kind of energies were coming up of, traumatizing the young person's body. And can you imagine what Olga Korbut went through as far as the discipline she was required to do at such a young age? So after the long talk, after my sessions, we had a nice long talk about lineages with my sister and I. So it was a really nice conversation. We're talking about past life regressions, and again, connecting with other people who are like-minded. And then we found this great Vietnamese restaurant on the way home, which was really fresh foods. It was really good, and actually I don't feel bothered by it today at all. So just we were not going to this Vietnamese restaurant. We were actually looked at another place we were going to go, but we were turning off the highway, and we actually pulled off to see if this was where we were supposed to have turned, and we ended up right in front of this Vietnamese restaurant. So we were like, well, let's go here. So it's like, just following your instincts and going with the flow. And it ended up being really good and fresh, and it's not bothering my system today. So it was just a reminder to follow your instincts in every moment. So I went back to the root girl that I just showed you and the galactic mushroom, and these are a summary of the definitions. It's not word for word. The root girl and the underlying energy, which by the way was at 10:34 last night, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the energetic exchange, the arrows of love, lots of communication and travel back and forth. The root girl is stunned and also shunned with deformities. So any things that you think are wrong with your body and yourself, and feeling shunned, like other people don't accept you for who you are, feeling alone without, parents or family, and orphaned in that family tree. The flawed perspective of our failures, the manifesting of guilt and shame, the projecting envy, the homeless child, crying for attention, acceptance, and love, not wanting to accept an ugly quality in self, which is just coming up as an unmet need, asking for your compassion of it, for your expression being, quote unquote, not whole, deemed as too much or too little, but not just right, as what came up earlier today. She may have inherited this wound from ancestors. It may not be from this life, but welcome her into your heart. When you do, all illuminates and the path lights up for you and with your purpose. When you accept your humanity, she is suddenly transformed, just as you are. Magic arrives. So see that beauty at 10:40, which is the wheel and the Page of Cups, that innocent love. So the first card that came out was that galactic mushroom, the divine matrix, the intricate complexity of life. Your most beautiful results are being birthed right now, not just for you, but for the highest good of all. So remember that it takes a long time for the universe to make its magic work. It's not just about your manifestation, it's about everyone's manifestation at the same time and making it all work out for everybody. The manifestation occurs first in the unseen realms, and that's where you're being called to have faith and trust, because eventually you will see the evidence play out in the serendipitous events that work in your favor, seemingly outside of the law of cause and effect. Because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after the universe has worked its way through all of the consciousness and coming back to you, all of a sudden your manifestations show up when you least suspect. So then we have the message I did last night. So I did another message of the day for today, my 4-deck read. Again, the underlying energies here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is the final section down here. Okay. And this was at 10:50 55 last night. So again, there's that 55 coming up again, the truth, Excalibur. And the underlying energy here is the snake, the ring, the Ace of Cups reversed, and the mature woman. The ring here is 25, which is the Knight of Wands, and the mature woman is the 6 of the Lovers. And again, if this is too much information for you to take in all at once, don't listen to all these reads at once. Perhaps listen to the video half and half, or in a third and 3/3. You don't have to watch it all at once because there's several reads here. Excuse me. So it's 1:35 around this time that we're doing this new message of the day, this final one. The snake collective awakening and the commitment of the Knight of Wands with new passion, overwhelmed by the mature woman. Mr. Ed, or extra dimensional, in charge of the collection, or in charge of the collective to awaken. Home, the King of Cups, or the Emperor, or they're the same person, with wise counsel, or best man, or perhaps maid of honor. So there could be weddings going on here, and of course it's that time of year. Wise divine feminines, or perhaps the ways of the divine feminine, and the Page of Wands cracking codes of that abundant family, business, or community, that 10 of Pentacles, exposing conflicts in the pursuit of happiness. The new life, the Knight of Cups taking a chance on taking it public and making it official, or pre-wedding jitters. Public judgment, prison, anxiety, or release. Again, could be people shy to get up in front of people, including their own wedding. And the Knight of Wands with new passion to commit to the 2 of Cups partnership, or spending a lot, blinded by the light and coming clean, with the Queen of Pentacles overwhelmed, or just tears of joy. The wounded warrior path, and inspired by unexpected income, or incoming shadow lover. And the King of Cups walking away, impoverished from the shadow to abundant marriage, but man with concerns may have sent a message of concern from Christ to angel, the Mary Magdalene in waiting, expecting a message, the 7th seal broken, and wise privileged lady burdened by the Knight of Cups in their community, or the man's message was intercepted, and the lady in waiting never received it. So they sent a message to the privileged lady to hang out, she perhaps strung out and needing company, with the Knight of Cups, since they were imprisoned, and at the moment in the big house, or imprisoned in a big house, perhaps with a wedding, or with a mature woman or mother. And then at 103, which is the Magician and the Empress, the first section was the tarantula, the cosmic egg, the black egg, and the cheetah. So cosmic egg is the crown chakra, the black egg is the throat chakra, along with the cheetah and the tarantula. So again, 2 negative energies, or the energies we construe as negative, right? The tarantula being scary because it's kind of ugly and hairy. And then the cheetah is coming up as that cheetah energy ready to pounce, and you never know when they're going to jump at you. At the crossroads on the ground, with the troops awakening, the truth pulsing, and the cheetah about to have at it. The high vibe discernment, but needing clarity about the high vibe journey, the love train. The collective crowning with the key to go free, standing up in dark night, and death be not proud. Just chaos in healthcare, or big transformation of the healthcare system. Truth be told on the romantic journey at the mid-moon, mid-June, or mid-Cancer season, with lovers main female, divine feminine high priestess, and the cheetah in love, diving deep with the Emperor reversed, mature man stepping down to see the world, or perhaps retiring. Making cuts, a split, death or end, to be free for lover, the Emperor reversed, destined journey through bad health or bad healthcare system to get to the main female as the mature man. The high priestess and the hierophant, the divine feminine and the free man, or wedding plans, perhaps daughter or collective crowning in their truth, or how to keep 2 at odds apart, perhaps wedding interference here, with Libra, Scorpio, Gemini, and then Aries is reversed, Pisces and Taurus is showing up here as well. At 1, 2, 3, jump. And this was funny too, because when we were on the beach yesterday, I asked my sister what animal she was, because I had my animal cards with me, and she said she was a turtle. And then the first card that came out was the eagle, which I just told you all about my eagle energy. But it was also the energy, why are you seeing yourself as the turtle in this deck? Because the turtle is saying, I'm too slow, go on without me, leave me to suffer. Find your wings and fly free. You deserve to be happy. The turtle, the dragonfly, and the eagle here. The turtle and the eagle. And again, that was very representative of me and my sister yesterday, because my eagle stuff was coming up and her turtle stuff was coming up. Two hearts is one. The turtle, the shadow mother, and the pushy Capricorn, perhaps with a choice of path, with wealthy man in transition, or two loving ladies with gifts or shopping for gift, or imprisoned by the King of Wands legal papers or court. The eagle romantic pup, wanting the Ten of Cups to take the lead, struggling to find a way out from the chains of main male number 1. The turtle is telling the eagle to go on without them. The Capricorn burdened and loving lady with the truth about the sweet pup looking for guidance. A path of the prison with no escape. The wealthy man in transition with the King of Wands lawyer filing on behalf of the main male, or to get the young man out. So somebody could be bailing someone out as well. And that can be someone's child. The third section is the cobra, the nightingale, and the butterfly. The cobra, now the cobra in the animal deck is all about the teacher, and that, right, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. The cobra is focused while the nightingale sings. The butterfly listens and transforms. The cobra, Two of Cups, or that partnership, that connection within yourself as well, with direction towards the bird. Perhaps there's a disappointment by death, or separated by death, ending, or transition. The bird in abundant energetic exchange, dropping the facade at the emperor's courtship. The butterfly with lovers and the breakthrough of the wounded warrior, humbling themselves to an official person. Heartbreak, tripped up, or the wounded warrior messed up, or death at a wedding of an official person, or perhaps the officiant. And that could just be an ending too. Maybe they're going through a breakup, or someone shows up at a wedding, but maybe not for the groom or the bride. At 207 then, which is the High Priestess and the 7 of the Chariot, the Divine Feminine and Pisces and Cancer comes up there as well. And right under that is 222, so then guidance, and again the 2 of the Feminine, seeing both sides of the situation, the 22 of the Fool's Journey with an open heart, taking a leap of faith, and then the triple 2s, which is the 6 of love, family, and community. We have the Stingray plugged into the Scorpion, who's triggering the Camel, who's blue about the Golden Child, or having had to leave the child at home, perhaps. The Stingray is the King of Wands with the Rugrats, pets or annoyances, or a big mess left behind, while taking the lead in an official capacity. The Scorpion is nesting the dream, or perhaps doing shots. Dependent Queen of Cups, working hard, or working girl, or cheated. And again, there could be feminine alcoholics coming up as well. Camel wounded warrior pulling up anchor, or new passion of the Queen of Wands thief. The Page of Cups, the Golden Child, may be recovering from despair. Again, this also can be a man or woman, and it's definitely more coming up as the man with his dog. So this could be grieving a dog, or out in the cold with their dog without a home, or just in going through a grief period here. The fifth section here is the Fox, Sagittarius, or wounded warrior, either leaving the country or leaving the hen house or feminine group. The Queen of Swords reverse has to run before gifts are presented. The loving man unable to sleep, perhaps rising above the false person, the snake, the poison, perhaps somebody roofied. Around the Ten of Cups family celebration, or the Page of Wands inspired by great fortune. Or the Queen of Swords reversed awakens to toxic sham fam, right? The family that looks perfect on the outside but is far from perfect. Or they awaken about her. The liar, cheater, thief trying to make up, or trying to gift to gain access to their great fortune. At 2:30, the High Priestess and the home, or the union, in a wake-up call of the man with sudden thoughts of a woman. And again, the scent of the woman comes up there. a ship that already sailed, the romantic little girl, or Cancer English patient, and the devil on fire for the aligning of sudden wealth. Ching ching with the triple sevens here. Aquarius, Capricorn, Scorpio, Cancer, Libra, Sag, and Leo all here. All right, and now we're at the main read on the table. So here is the twin flame read. So here's the main read from the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And then here is the 7-deck read on the table, all 7 decks. Okay, remember these are all general readings, so don't assume every message is for you. If you do want something more specific, I'm glad to do a read for you. My information is below, as well as my website. You can check that information out. I also have that CD out there called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames if you want to check that out. I have posted 3 of those songs for free on my YouTube channel if you want to check them out, just as a sample to see if you like it or not. They're on my YouTube website with short little videos. And then here's the twin flame read here. Yeah. So the SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt at 8:08. And this was for, this was the energy of the full moon eclipse at 8:08, which for me, the 8s are the twin flames dancing between their masculine and feminine. And now here's 2 twins at 8:08 dancing between their masculine and feminine with space between, with the 0, which is a really good place to be. It's also Lionsgate and bringing up that energy as now we're in that Lionsgate season. Now that we're going into June through August, the energies always come up through that whole period. It's kind of like a graduation ceremony. So communication was coming up, as well as things being on, the word on. At 8:20, the He Tower came up as opposed to the E Tower of the Divine Feminine's heart. The He Tower was coming up, the 8:20 of the manifestation of dreams and the 20 of the wake-up call. 8:21 also came up as ER, so whatever urgent events coming up for you. At 8:21, the dance of the world, which is completion, coming full circle. The urgency to come full circle, right, to get closure on things. Also, the word muni was coming up in communication. And one of muni's definitions is the Buddhist and vow of silence. So perhaps daring yourself to not speak at all for a day and see how that works out for you. It also means to lay an egg, duties, functions, to provide, fit, or to let someone wait without any good reason at all. Muni. So perhaps instead of a vacation, this is a munication, to be silent or to let someone wait without any good reason, but just because that's what's resonating with you at the moment. At 8:39 is the 8 of the dance, the 39 of the Knight of Cups. And the major arcana for this read were Indigo, which is the Magician in this deck, Karma, which is Judgment, Abundance, which is the Empress, Shadow, which is the Devil, and Tower, which is the Tower, of course. And then after the read, the High Priestess came up, which is the higher self in this deck. There was 1 wand, 4 pentacles, and 1 sword, and there were no cups in the main cards. The King of Wands and the Page of Pentacles were the main players in the read. King of Wands, Page of Pentacles, which is a very curious young energy. Before the read was the Page of Cups, Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. And after the read, the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles came up. There were double 7s. Those were the only double numbers in the read. 77 is the Sovereign, the 9 of Pentacles. And we also had 2, 4, 6, and 10 as the most significant numbers. The High Priestess, the Emperor, the Lovers, and the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, that high vibe and just a reminder to keep your energy high vibrational. We also had the 12 of the Hanging Man, the 23 of the King of Wands, 34 of the 8 of Wands, the 45 of the 5 of Cups, the 56 of the 2 of Swords, the 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, and the 710, which is 0 behind the 71, which is the 3 of Pentacles for me as the co-creation card. The code line was all about communication here. And 6s were coming up all over this. Sixthly, literally 6thly, sixthly came up twice in 2 different definitions, which is weird because it's not something that ever comes up in definitions. So literally the word sixthly, but also 6 o'clock came up, right, when the lines are perfectly vertical, and that's that pi energy of being very balanced but not expanding outside of yourself, which is like that vow of silence, to just stay within yourself for a day as opposed to expanding. And the word that came up is sesati. And I think what came up, the Vedic word was desati. And here sesati was coming up, S-E-S-A-T-I, which means to suckle or suck, which came up in the message here. There's a lot about boobs and sucking here. So I don't know if someone's breastfeeding or having sex here, but there's definitely the energy of both. But the code line here is all about communication. It was broken up into calm and communication. So Munich can be coming up again, as well as the Muni definitions, and cation, which has to do with the ions and connection. Perhaps a cat connection as well. But sixthly, and also 60, the number 60, and the E shadow. So the he, so E tower and he tower came up, and also E shadow and he shadow. So both sides of the masculine and the feminine coming up, the communication between them, and that the communication is the shadow part of your relationship, because the love is within, it's not the without. So it's the difficulty in communicating when perhaps you don't need to communicate. Maybe you just need to be silent together and sit back to back and allow your spines to align with each other. The code line here is number 16, coming from 10 and 6, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers. The 16 is the Tower, sudden events again. And the messages came up like this. So CC was coming up, but also that's carbon copy, Christ consciousness, and say source support. Twin is a high vibe indigo lover. It's the shadow that you are regarding communication here. The sudden event, to suckle or suck. The fruit, the fodder, the fat, and again referencing boobs is the fat, the mast, the support. The 2 and the 3 that are you. The destined indigo lovers, the shadow that is your communication here. The sexy Sadie also came up from the Beatles, right? And also Twotin, which is tweeted in the past. So sexy Sadie supports what was tweeted, perhaps, which may have been a slap in the face. The indigo lover being the shadow of your communication. So that's the issue, right? Communication. Especially if you have no idea what's going on in the other's life, right? Because you're always going to take each other's words incorrectly, because you see from opposite perspectives. So really weird words were coming up, like Satima, which means for hours, and TWA, which means the numbers 2 and 3 and you. Obviously, it's an old airline as well. And then the session, or wandering for hours, the path of the twin, or 2 to 3, your path, the destiny of high vibration, the indigo 6 and 6 o'clock, which is that pi energy of perfect balanced alignment and staying within yourself. And instead of 5 o'clock shadow, 6 o'clock shadow is coming up here. And also PI can be private eye, so that could be coming up as well. 6 o'clock and PI, which also could be principal investigator when you're doing research, so that could be coming up as well. So sixthly, for hours, the path 2 or twin, the 10 of destiny and high vibration, indigo, sixthly or 60, perhaps the shadow wife and the shadow communication. The 6 o'clock shadow, the 6 degrees of separation, the 6th sense, and the calm ammunition without the humanness of the Tion. The Tion is the tiger, masculine, and the lioness. And also the word Municao came up, M-U-N-I-C-A-O, with some accents on there, which means ammunition and munitions. So definitely warlike energies coming up there, or just having words as your ammunition. The calm is the pitchfork. The waist, I just brought up my waist injury, right, on my back. Come, cumin, alongside, together, against, bosom, breast. So a lot about sexual energies coming up here with the calm, or come. The glass, water, stomach also coming up as energies, along with the waist and the pitchfork. And also Sadie, like sexy Sadie, but also Sadie is consciousness, it's intention, lucidity, it's memory, it's to be satiated, mindfulness, alertness, possession, to be self-conscious, the wise man, and self-possession as well. The session of the suckling boob, again, you too destined, the indigo, the sixth E, the Isha, which can be a king type of energy, but the Isha is a delinquent teen, to endow or relentless wanting of a dowry, and this could be a child who expects to get their inheritance, to get everything and not wanting to share it with anyone. But this can be a delinquent teen. And again, the dowry coming up, or the dower. And dower is a part or interest in a deceased husband's property, provided to his widow or estate. Instead of the dowry of the feminine given to the masculine family, this is the dowry given by the groom to the bride before the marriage. This can be an endowment as well, or a gift. So, and dower can also be stern, harsh, obstinate, severe, or relentless. Forbidding, melancholy, sullen, gloomy, water, rain, tears, sweat, and saliva. So sexy Sadie, and also the boob tube coming up. And tanindi, that word, which is to be held or restrained. So perhaps holding back from watching TV, and sexy Sadie, and that can be, again, a delinquent teen who's sexy Sadie. Maybe she's having sex at a young age, and maybe she watches TV all the time. Also the session, to say source support. The session says source support. To suck the fodder, the twin, an amount to be held back. And that could be sucking the life out of someone as well. Go-go. Oh, that's so weird. I didn't write go-go here. It's go 60. So the age 60 or the number 60 is coming up as well. But when I read it, I was reading go-go, and I was just telling my sister about, my best friend in elementary school died, and I was jealous of her because she had white go-go boots, and my mother would never let me have go-go boots. But it was reminding me of that go-go boot type of energy, the teen delinquent that you are. The woman, the wife, the one, the timepiece, right? Something that you wear, the breast, your pitchfork, the ammunition, the source, without being human or just being on. The session to be, satiated, mindful, the wise man, the to use, to be held, to go lover. The sixth, the 60, the Isha of that delinquent, being endowed and relentless. But also endearment is coming up here. Again, loving all parts of yourself. The numbers, the 6 o'clock was coming up at 6 o'clock, the PI, and then also the date yesterday, which was 5/17, and then 4 to 7, which is my sweet spot in numerology, right? It's airing to the side of the light. So 5 would be the middle in the numbers, but just airing to the side just above that, which is that 4 to 7 range. And that was actually the time that I was at my session yesterday. It was 4 to 7, so that was coming up again. And the 6 that's in between there. Perhaps in the session of 3 hours from 4 to 7, the 6 o'clock is the sweet spot there. Again, the 6 o'clock shadow as opposed to the 5 o'clock shadow, right? Because 5 o'clock is when the beard starts growing back in. But here is saying the 6 o'clock shadow is when your shadow starts creeping in. So we start here with the King of Wands reversed and the underlying energy. So we have that underlying energy right here with the mini cards on top. And my cards are a little disheveled there because I bump into them. So that could be bumping into something. But that's the 10 of Wands right there, the burden of Atlas energy. And the King of Swords is right there as well on top. But the King of Wands is the bottom of the deck there. And below the King of Wands, and this was at 9:56, the Hermit with the 56 of the 2 of Swords being in your knowing, keeping your energies to yourself. Perhaps that's that vow of silence for the day. Or just, this is also someone trying to keep peace of mind or keeping to themselves because they don't want to deal with the situation. So the King of Wands reversed in the underlying energy. Below that, the 7 of Pentacles reversed, the Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles upright, the 9 of Wands reversed, the 3 of Pentacles upright, and the 7 of Swords upright. So it starts out with the 10 of Cups family reversed energy. The ending of an emotional cycle or an unhappy family there. Implementing a plan with the Page of Cups and Queen of Cups both upright here with the player or fallen angel or fallen short at work or just paralyzed by their passions and taken off to or after passing information to the Queen through the King of Wands reversed. So here again is the Queen of Cups and the Page of Cups, very beautiful, loving energy, passing information to the King of Wands reversed, who's very tainted energy, right? Because he's in that energy of physical abuse, or maybe he's just sick or sick and tired. But he's reversed. So at best, he's having a bad day or just sick or just low energy. But at worst, he can be all over the place. He can be angry, throwing a temper tantrum, or even physical abuse could come up with the King of Wands reversed. But the unhappy family about the Divine Feminine's heart coming out to the Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups, which can be two children or mother and child or just two water signs of Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio energy. But they're coming out, the family may be unhappy about the Divine Feminine coming out to the Page of Cups and Queen of Cups about the player or the Knight of Wands reversed, being paralyzed by their passions. Again, maybe not wanting their kids to know this stuff about their parent or something like that, that paralyzed by their passions at work and passing downloads, ideas or information to the King of Wands reversed, perhaps telling things to someone who doesn't need to know that information. In the never-ending story of suffering and silence, or perhaps a sister and the Atlas with the weight of the world, the Knight of Cups upright and the Knight of Pentacles upright together here, offering love and help to the Page of Swords reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed. So two upright knights and then two, they're like four child energies, where there's one page and three knights. They're all, the first two are upright, the Knight of Pentacles and Cups, and then the Page of Swords and Knight of Wands are reversed here. With the King of Swords upright here, or maybe these are all his kids, who are all very different, but very difficult here, or there could be two older ones taking care of two younger ones who are having a hard time. Or the King of Swords is with kids. This could be a teacher or whoever he's taking care of. It could be a bunch of pets as well, or just tons of messages of different kinds. But the King of Swords are his kids, or while working really hard, carrying all the weight for all these people, the Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Page of Swords, and the Knight of Wands all lining up to see the King of Swords. And this could be maybe there's a job and they're all lining up to see them, or joining with a lawyer in a group lawsuit or class action suit coming up, and Erin Brockovich came up right there, or employment line is out the door, or lots of complaints about the King of Wands reversed at 10:15, which is the the Wheel of Fortune, that high vibration energy and destiny, and the 15 of the shadow side of things, the devil, or Capricorn perhaps. So after the sudden event of the devil or Capricorn, inspired by the inequity and destined regarding Scrooge, or again hoarding type of energy, without integrity, or with secret passion, or Pisces reversed, who may be depressed, or arrogant King of Wands reversed, perhaps with a bad reputation, and the King of Pentacles upright and the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help, or perhaps a missed opportunity, or perhaps the King of Pentacles, their parent, doesn't have time to help them with their homework, or the King of Wands reversed and the King of Pentacles upright in a fight over the Page of Pentacles reversed, or both in need of help. The King of Wands reversed losing all in the fall, or by fall leaves them. Perhaps the King of Wands reversed has been tainted, or tainting the King of Pentacles' child, or an intern, and the King of Pentacles obviously doesn't like that, or the Page of Pentacles reversed, or using children to do their dirty work for them. And this could be kids being paid under the table as well. You know, it could be like family kids, getting your nieces and nephews or cousins or children to do the dirty work that you don't want to do, or perhaps that's not quite legal or not quite moral to do, getting the kids to do it. The Page of Cups reversed and the Queen of Cups upright, Justice reversed and Hierophant reversed, getting over loss, regret with the Queen of Cups upright, the injustice in a divorce or spiritual community, or the Queen of Cups upright sends love to tainted Justice and Hierophant, or Libra and Taurus both reversed, or religion versus Justice Department, red versus blue, or injustice of the beaches or shorelines, or the Queen above them all, or sending love for the injustices and tainted leaders here. Chemistry comes up here, and below that was paying attention to the red flags, which is any signs and synchronicities that you need to be present for. If you're not present in the moment, you're not going to see them. And that was at 10:33, the Christ energy and destiny. And the big love at work here. By exposing the logs or in the kitchen, brewing up some herbs perhaps, the sovereign is upright, obsessing or splitting hairs or cutting cords or hair, as the devil feels castrated and marking their territory here, and as the King of Wands reversed may be without affection and depressed, or abusive and arrogant, with the Page of Cups child unable to express their emotions because of this. With Capricorn upright and Aquarius reversed, or abusive power, or the King of Wands reversed over the Page of Cups innocent one, which can be a message as well. But it could be a child, a pet, but very pure and innocent. And this can be their inner child as well. With self-love, and below that, healing. And the energy of the third-party injustices, unable to sleep or rest, or awaken coming out, the wounded warrior down on one knee. It's like humbling themselves to someone, or even to themselves. The Ten of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or the ending to an emotional cycle. And this could be someone giving up and just conceding to the family to get it over with. Perhaps in a separation, juggling, performing, distracting the crowds with the eye on the prize, while the crown gets declogged at 1041, which is the wheel, destiny, and that Ace of Cups of self-love, spiritual love, and new love. I was also getting the energy of Harry Carey, or cult suicide, cover-up, with busybodies, or bees fall, or two females fall behind the scenes at 1044, which is destiny in the wheel, with the 44 of learning how to receive love, or just being bored and apathetic. There could be, with the fall behind the scenes, there could be a cover-up of 3 plus 2, which also is coming up in the code line definition. The 3 plus 2, which is also juggling the 3 to, saving the 2 for later, and juggling the rainbow with their eye on the prize. The opportunist of the King of Wands reversed, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the Hierophant reversed, which is some really negative energy altogether, and the Page of Cups unable to express themselves because they're in this negative energy. The daily grind of the King of Wands reverse may be exhausted. Maybe you missed an opportunity with spiritual community, with a message of love that's hard to get out there. Or the King of Wands reversed with the Page of Pentacles reversed, Taurus perhaps. Or is the Page of Pentacles reversed Taurus, working under the Queen of Cups after she grieved the injustice with them? The Page of Cups learning self-love. With the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, took down the Fool, or tripped them, or in Aries, perhaps they tripped up. And that could be children tripping someone up. Or the Knight of Pentacles and Magician both upright here, perhaps co-creating with the Empress upright, the Twin Flames and the King of Cups reversed, announcing defenseless, or the defenselessness, to those out in the cold, wanting to start over, broken, or stuck, perhaps in the sun, exposing all. The Ace of Cups reversed, dumped, purging, or just overwhelmed, or perhaps they're tears of joy. But it's coming up as sweating it out with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community in their abundance, or heaven on earth. The Knight of Pentacles, loyal, humble servant. The Magician co-creating with the Empress in pursuit of happiness, and needing to be strong with the Six of Cups connection of the Queen of Swords, awake and coming out with the Knight of Swords, grounding in the union at 1058. That high vibe energy of destiny, and the Four of Swords of the 5D connection now being grounded into reality. The Knight of Cups healing, offering love, and receiving new passion from Sovereign, who's paralyzed by their passions and being naked to the world. The sealed divine feminine and our Pisces with DNA in both hands, marching to the beat of their own drum at 1101. The bull and the lion unable to infiltrate their field, due to angels in the outfield. The recent past here is the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or the Emperor upright and the King of Swords upright, given a choice or ultimatum to shape up or ship out, or be ready to take the fall and drop the act, to break old patterns, or maybe tripped up, with the Six of Cups, soul ties, or children perhaps with divine feminine, Pisces, or children all over the world, with the King of Pentacles in energetic exchange and their arrows of love, offering their time, money, and effort, or exchanging bitcoins with lover, Gemini, or twins, backing up the King of Pentacles and the children after lied to or split and divided about the King of Swords upright and the Emperor upright, or the King of Pentacles split from the King of Swords and the Emperor to be with their divine lover and or their truth or twin. Pisces, Gemini, and Aries here. The family, business, or community meeting perhaps, or the president and their council, or coming together without the King of Wands reversed, perhaps humbled by the Justice Department. The foundation is karma and the wake-up call for the Page of Cups, patient angel in need of peace, and the Page of Wands excited to meet up with the Knight of Swords. Or Pisces, Sag, and Aquarius. Or, what did I write there? This could be the general market alliance as well. That can also be like siblings coming together. You know, this is also different families coming together in marriages, that kind of thing, and creating an alliance between the children. The central energy of the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help or a missed opportunity. And the Hermit with the light in energetic exchange or hours of love or just lots of communication and travel back and forth. With the King of Pentacles at night or during the eclipse wake-up call, announcement, or to the Two of Cups, partners destined, with Virgo, Cancer, Aquarius, and Libra all upright here at 11:15, justice and alignment, truth and balance of the shadow side, the devil, or Capricorn energies in Libra. The block here, or the challenge, is the indigo proposal of the Two of Cups that don't reconcile and divorce, or the coming together with third party and spiritual community. Depressed both post-war, perhaps after a death, or just dead tired, or in a painful end or ending pain, perhaps just having a massage, or in a betrayal or pain in the ass, and starting over, or major surgery and a near-death experience in that. Dumped on, pushed to the limit at home, union, or celebration, or overwhelmed by the welcoming committee. A passionate exchange weakened them, but the Page of Wands is excited by the Queen of Cups getting their wish, and burning the past with patient angel, or Sagittarius at night, at the full moon, or Cancer in need of peace, leaving or going away, tired of whistleblowing or clowning around, or done the daily grind and bleeding out, or took off for major surgery before they bled out, perhaps an aneurysm. At 11:23, there's that date again I didn't notice. That's that energy of November 23rd this year, in that 1 week of Scorpio. The Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave with good news, leading the way, healing and no need for an excuse, defenseless to lover and his bad reputation, or juggling or performance, the inequity and not sharing what was stolen, or who stole his heart. The Queen of Wands reversed left the Page of Pentacles reversed to invest with the sovereign or their own sovereignty or singlehood, to end the cycle of unhappiness and be happy, or vacation, that can be a vocation as well, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Empress upright, tempted by the devil here. The Queen of Wands reversed may be shacking up with the wounded warrior, or investing in them to help them find peace and or get a divorce. The Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands, who's reversed, the Knight of Cups is upright, may be at home or on vacation, the Devil and Mrs. Jones, or sisters and kids, with Sag reversed, Leo, Taurus, and Capricorn upright here, the King of Cups reversed with the Queen of Swords lovers, or Scorpio King of Cups reversed, and Gemini or twin Queen of Swords, secretly self-satisfying, with Sag and Scorpio reversed here, Leo and Cancer upright between. At 11:33 of Justice and the Christ vibration, soon is the Six of Pentacles reversed, the imbalance, the inequity, a debt or scam, in painful ending or surgery, starting over with third party in a breakup, or Cancer reversed, that could be a remission as well, or Cancer surgery, taking it all out, with the Magician with all their tools on board and peace of mind to awaken and keep their energy clear, from guilty parties to feelings of shame, The Page of Cups aligning with love and magic. Cancer reversed, but Gemini or Virgo upright. Capricorn is reversed, but Pisces is here too. The twin flames seeing themselves as the Two of Swords in their knowing, with synchronicities and heaven in their eyes. The Emperor's not sure what to make of all this. The Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or heaven on earth. The King of Wands reversed in a split with the Queen of Wands reversed, trapped by or with the wounded warrior, hanging over the Emperor's head, or a prisoner, or the Emperor's unaware of all of his options, a ghost that radiates and says all that glitters is gold. The King and Queen of Wands, both reversed here, have been lying to each other, or are a couple who scams people, or entraps the wealthy, or knows the Emperor's secrets and are bribing him, or two kids who have been lying to him at 1142, and that could be the ones bribing him too, like your own kids. 1142 is Justice and the Two of Cups. So honeymoon, let go of control, make the effort, and passion all come up for the twins here. Or the King of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed have only been holding on to the Emperor and family for their inheritance to come in, but now feel trapped by his control. Around the twins are how they're seen as abundance upright, or Taurus Empress working to align and rise above, awakening but weak when they don't sleep, receiving new passion or inspiration and growth and creativity from the group that sets them free at 1145, which happens to be the time of my birth. So that can be a birthing experience for you guys. Or riding things out, just waiting for this opportunity to be free. The block is the shadow or Capricorn energy of being out in the cold after sudden events at work, or going to the hospital to avoid a disaster down the road, or down under was coming up just now as well. Perhaps a fear of hospitals or a bad history there, so not wanting to go back. And that could just be not because of what the hospital did, but just because of the experience that you went through. Communication comes up here, but even more so, the happy ending and moderation. The Two of Cups of lovers or partners without a leg to stand on, after sudden exposure of a present or being present to gifts, or a bribe or money spent on lover, per the Queen of Swords, about Gemini perhaps, or Leo vacation, or Scorpio and Pisces reversed, or secret passion, and happy with themselves, or getting their wish, or the Divine Masculine trying to avoid a disaster, being present with their time, money, and effort, or a payoff here. The Queen of Swords in exile above the group, the Hermit in the Mary Magdalene cave with a new passion for the Knight of Pentacles, higher self, or Divine Masculine, 1153, of Justice and the Knight of Swords, the Messenger of Truth, or Knight in Shining Armor. The King of Wands reversed judgment and keeping to themselves with the Empress, or about his abundance, with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community of wealth, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, without curiosity here, or just in need of help, challenged by Indigo's offer and the unfairness of the shadow web, or the Page of Pentacles with an offer that's too good to resist by the scammer devil or Capricorn, and the Divine Masculine trying to avoid a disaster, with the Queen of Swords out in the cold, with flame or big passion, and inspiration of the Knight of Pentacles with an offer for secret passion, higher self at 1157, of Justice and the Three of Swords, saving and practical, but hiding in the Bat Cave. The Divine Feminine with the Page of Cups and Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Wands reversed at work, scamming with the King of Wands reversed, or the King and Queen of Wands reversed, with the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, juggling, performance, judgment, announcement, or wake-up call to karma, and the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help, the Divine Masculine's heart in the Bat Cave, and challenged by the Indigo, or the Magician's offer, unaware of the Six of Pentacles reversed scam, or inequity, or lack of integrity there, or really knowing and pretending, and that was right at 12 o'clock there too, it's 1:01 on the clock now, pretending they didn't know, so they wouldn't have to deal with it. And it's 12 o'clock on my clock, on my notes, but it was just 1:01 on my clock, so it's syncing right there, and it was just 2:18:44 here, which is the High Priestess, the Moon, and again, learning how to receive love. So someone may be pretending not to know about this inequity or scam, with the Abundance or Empress, and the codependency or addiction of Taurus and or Capricorn after sudden event, with the Divine Masculine, or perhaps in the afternoon and PM, and the Queen of Swords exiled, but still with passion at 12:01 for the Knight of Pentacles, or as the Knight of Pentacles, who's that loyal, humble servant, proposing to secret passion, or higher self is the Divine Masculine. So there's all your reads. There's a lot. So you might want to listen to that in a couple sessions in order to be able to take it all in. So let's just do a quick energy deck card. And I'll do a Journey of Love just to keep it simple. So what is our takeaway from all this today? From the energy deck here. And as I'm looking down at my decks sitting out, the Magician's Sword is staring at me. Confidence in your magic. And it's the 37, which is the King of Cups. Unconditional love. Be confident in your magic, guys. This came right up. Door to value. 31. There's that conflict regarding what you value. Make sure you know what you value. Is it really the money that you value? Remember, it's about the intention feeling. You don't necessarily want to peg exactly what you want. You want to peg the feeling that you want. What makes you feel good? Right? So you want that security of feeling good, that you can afford to live in a home. But it's not that you need to be rich, because that may not be exactly what you want. Be careful what you wish for. So you might want to make a list of the things that are most important to you, What are your non-negotiables? What would make you feel conflicted if you were asked to do? What is the pursuit of happiness for you? And there's the Goddess of the Moon, the 52, the Queen of Swords. What have you valued that maybe you don't feel now you should be valuing? Maybe you didn't realize you were still valuing something that is really not serving you. Because this is that energy of the false light coming up, right? With the lunar eclipse here. Are you still holding up that false light of the moon? Are you holding up the energy of the earth and its light? The Queen of Swords is she's considered the war widow, which is that victim mentality, right? She's sitting in her wounding. So do you really want to value that, or do you want to let go of that to really find your true happiness? What makes you happy? And there's that caring connection. And there's the 14 of that higher love of the Temperance card. Patience, balance, taking a step off the beaten path to do what makes you happy, not what society says should make you happy, but what actually does make you happy. And being patient in that higher love here with yourself and with your connection here. So again, accepting all the parts of you and loving all the parts of you, but just also realizing what you do and don't want to keep in your energy and let go in order to be in a relationship here. What's going to make that relationship really happy? And there's your Temple path. This is that Thomas Kincaid energy of the Garden of Gethsemane kind of energy. The 12 of the 12 apostles. And remember the painting of the Last Supper and the Mary Magdalene who fits in there. Right? Because here's the 14. What's between the 12 and the 14 is the 13th one. Right? The 12 apostles. But who's the 13th person? It's that little nook that Mary Magdalene fits into in the picture. And the 14 is that higher love. Right? The 13 is the transition to the next realm or the next cycle. And the 14 is that higher love. The bottom of the deck is the Magician in the mirror. So again, the mirror shattering was coming up in the last read. So it's the underlying energy of that. This is the 53, the Knight of Swords. Again, the Messenger of Truth, the Knight in shining armor. And what do you value? What makes you happy? And are you truly looking at yourself in the mirror? Or are you pretending to be something else that you're not? And the next card that was coming up was the thinking man. So here's the thinking woman and the underlying energy of the feminine energy and finding her mission with synchronicities, that 7 of cups, of seeing heaven in her eyes and allowing that to guide her, right? To manifest dreams coming true. The thinking woman, to use her thoughts for a positive purpose, not for a negative purpose. and allowing the masculine to take a really good look in the mirror, because then after all of these cards that just came out for you guys, really figuring out what makes you happy and letting go of the things that maybe aren't really making you happy in order to come into caring connections, what makes you happy in your love and family relationships, because it's not about sex and connection, it's about your heart. And that temple path, the beauty of the connection between you is where the sexual expression comes from. It's not the other way around. There is that 12 emotional fulfillment, and the 13 is the space between here, and then comes up the masculine's path, the thinking man of the 46, which is the children loving each other, the inner children, and that true love. And what is it that you don't want to work? You want to play. Your work should be your playtime. It's what you love to do. So the 47 is the feminine finding her mission prior to this, right? And this is me like opening pages of the book to give you a message. And I guess I'm going to do that right after this. Even though we're long, we might as well, right? So here's that 47 of the feminine and seeing synchronicities. And then the masculine waking up, right, to his inner child, the 6 of Cups, and finding his mission now. Okay? So she had to follow her bliss and her signs and synchronicities, right? Kind of learning to humble herself to source and follow her guidance as the masculine wakes up to his inner child, like his more feminine side, and allowing that to come into play as well. Right? It's like she had to wake up more to her divine masculine, and he had to wake up more to his divine feminine, and also correct the distorted in themselves. Like the masculine had to correct the distortions of the masculine in himself, and the feminine had to correct the distortions of the divine feminine herself, while awakening the other side as well, in the divine aspect as opposed to the distorted aspect, but at the same time loving it all. So we're going to open a book. Which book am I supposed to open? I was getting, from the picture that I saw, I was getting Let There Be Light. So that's one. This is the one my great-grandfather wrote. So this is Let There Be Light, and I'm going to just open it up randomly to see where it comes up for us. 111, The Confession of Prejudice. So let me just read, see what comes up right there. It says, I had always thought of a socialist as a beer-drinking German loafer, a Jew as a grasping, scheming, and unscrupulous money shark, the Italian I had believed to be degraded, vicious, and treacherous, and the Negro the embodiment of ignorance and superstition. This came up already, and this is not my grandfather talking, it's someone else. While those of Irish blood I had taken to be seditious, place-seeking, and peace-destroying, I now realize how much in error I have been, and I shall do all I can to correct my mistake. In conclusion, I wish to say that my wife and I believe I say it with her approval, for I see, as you all do, her manifestation of that approval. I therefore repeat that my wife and I will always deem it a privilege to have you hold any future meetings at our house, and we shall be glad to receive an invitation to your meetings wherever they may be held. Mr. Joseph Morton, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know that I find words more apt to express what I have to say than those just uttered by my uncle. I therefore wish it understood that what he has said applies equally to me. I make the same admissions. I share his hope for the good to be accomplished through the cooperation and social communion of all the intelligent minds among us, regardless of the difference of wealth, creed, or color. Let us hope that the time will soon be here when such differences will no longer raise an artificial wall of separation. I believe with Mr. Norton that the social communion of intelligent minds amongst all the people must tend in a great degree to eliminate prejudice. Okay, so I'm not going to go on more about that. But you get the point there and how perfect that is. So this is the book again, Let There Be Light, by my great-grandfather, David Lubin. Okay, so this is again, perhaps, and it was specific to masculine since it is a man talking and we're talking about the divine masculine right now. It is a specific energy of how the masculine was raised, and perhaps energies that didn't resonate with him, but he had to follow along with because he was raised as part of that entity. So it's again letting go of those prejudices that perhaps they never really actually felt, but they had to feel because that was their group that they were affiliated with, or perhaps being affiliated with groups that are prejudiced to other groups and no longer wanting to do that. This is the masculine stepping, and the masculine within the feminine stepping out of those situations and admitting that, humbling themselves and being okay with that, loving both sides of themselves and not feeling guilty, but actually being just happy to learn more about themselves in a very intellectual way that my great-grandfather did, right? Being very outward about their shortcomings and their strengths in order to come to some kind of change to make life better for everybody around the world, which was very much my great-grandfather's goal. So I'm going to leave it at that, since I did the page for you guys. And it was just 111 on the clock, guys. How crazy is that? So remember your water, because it's so important for your body to be hydrated, because we are mostly water. You won't feel good if you don't have water in your body. Make sure you drink good water that's clear and healthy. And make sure you get plenty of rest as much as you can. And don't get on your case if there's something that you fall in or you do something wrong that you deem as wrong. Don't feel guilt and shame. Just like, I was in research for 25 years. If you made a mistake, I grew up like I was scared to death if I made a mistake, because my mom would have hit me or yelled at me and looked at me with hate in her face, and that was scary for me. But there's one person, I was doing one research project at work, and I felt very much that way for a long time with my bosses, because you think you're going to get fired if you don't do things right, and yet people are expecting you to do things without training, and all that kind of stuff came up during that time. But then I met this woman who was the president of her company. It was a drug company, but actually it was a device company, not a drug company. And there was a big boo-boo made, and she was so calm. And in research, all you ever expected to do if you make a mistake is to document, and then document how you're going to go forward and not have this happen again. And she was so calm about the whole thing, and I'm like, it was such an awakening to me, like, wow, like, you don't have to freak out when something bad happens. You can just, look at it, see why it happened, and see in the future how maybe that we don't have to do that again in a very calm, loving way. It doesn't have to be an angry thing because you did something wrong or bad, and it wasn't something I had done badly. It was just, a bad error that, you don't want happening in research. But it was a really eye-opening experience, just connecting with her energy, because she was so calm about everything, and she was just very loving energy. It was, you have to give thanks to these people that you meet along the way who kind of help you to step up to understanding something more about yourself and others around you. So remember your water, your sleep, your joy in your nature, and being in gratitude, and just remember to breathe and oxygenate all your cells. Make your body happy. Rise and be loved, you guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Breathe.